There it is. I'm in. J0hn Bane, are you here? Am I in the channel?
And you're muted.
And am I unmuted?
Yes, you are unmuted.
Oh, I found you. Found you. How do I? Is your camera on?
No, I can turn it on now though.
Oh, it's up to you. Wait, everybody wants to see your beautiful face.
Oh, do they?
All right, now I have to figure out how to pop out. And then... Oh, this is so weird. I don't know if you've ever tried to...
Nope.
Yeah, it's real weird. It's not full screen. And then I need to hide... Don't show... There we go. Dude, I think I've done it. And then... We're gonna get this.
Campfire.
I know. I got
fireplace going on there.
Fireplace. Right. Discord. I did it. I think. Whoa, you're. Now it's
Whoa, I'm huge.
I'll just cover you.
Where am I?
Just put you right here. Just take up the whole thing.
Oh my God.
This is professional show. Professional. We've done it. Look at that. It's the magic of the internet. It's the magic of the internet. And you have the cat. Also, I lost my chat screen. All right, chat's going to be on this side. Professional kitty men. That's right. Professional kitty men. So, J0hn Bane, how are you?
I'm well, and how is you doing?
I'm good. Had a late start. I thought the Disney game would be funnier, but it's not so much. It
looked like it was like a walking, running, jumping simulator.
Yeah, it's like you get to walk around in circles and jump, and it's like Mickey Mouse asks you to do a bunch of favors. And
that sounds suggestive.
Yeah, it's like, hey, do you want to take this book and go get people to sign it? And then you're like, cool. And then it's like, can you give this book to somebody else? Like, I thought I was going to get to keep it, but it's like, can you get autographs and give it to my other friends?
Oh, and was it like autographs of like the princesses and stuff like that, or
yeah,
was it
it was like so far it was everybody. So far I was like, go get all these people's autographs, and then he's like, oh, cool, you got them. Now this is a gift for Goofy, not you. And then he's like, on top of that, can you get a picture of some other people? And so I tried to do that, and then it's like, oh, you got to go buy a photo album in order to take pictures. So it's basically a racket.
For cash too.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a scam. Wow. It's a Disney scam that Mickey Mouse is enticing.
Scam in play?
It's yeah, it's a bunch of banana sandwich.
I like don't bring down banana sandwiches for that. They're, especially with a little bit of peanut butter. It's not too bad.
Yeah, peanut butter banana, isn't it so good? The weird thing.
I haven't had one in a while, but they're good.
I tried something. I wanted jelly. Like, I don't know if you're a fan of jelly, but I mean, most people are a fan of jelly. I wanted jelly. I didn't really want peanut butter, but I wanted jelly. So I had I put jelly on a Pop-Tart.
I don't eat Pop-Tarts, but I do like them.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not one of those people too. If you eat something that I don't eat, like, oh my God, you're trash. If you enjoyed the hell of it, eat that damn Pop-Tart with jelly on it. But, I know haters like that. It's funny.
Right. They're like, oh, you eat carbs? And you're like,
oh, you eat processed foods? Yeah, there's a good shit you do too, man. Just different kind.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, I love sugar. I mean,
it's like the salad people too. Like when you eat a salad and you're at a restaurant and they criticize you for putting dressing on it while they sit with a fat burger and a side of fries looking at you. It's like, you just shut the hell up and eat your burger.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like it's. I mean, I made this mistake today, and of course this is all on me because I really wanted one. But I went to McDonald's. I got a double quarter pounder because it's delicious, and a Diet Coke.
Well, that's always funny. I got another friend. There's a place called Ronnie's Chuck Wagon.
Yeah,
and sometimes meet up there or used to, and they don't like a large cheeseburger, a big burger. And a sausage dog and a Diet Coke. And it's like, even the cashier is like, yeah, some people just prefer the taste of it too, over a regular Coke.
it's more habitual. Like if I'm eating 1,200 calories in a burger, then I'd at least want to shave off that 350 from the drink. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, screw it. You're just gonna go that far. Just, I mean,
Right.
get a damn. If you want a Coke, just drink a damn Coke too, or not a diet. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I weigh my calories out per the week anyway. So like, I don't look at it day by day because then you just that often throws people off a diet quicker
Yeah.
by having only day by day. So
That's interesting. We'll have to. Well, we'll explore that because I'm curious about that. But first, the big question. This is the real question. What did you have for breakfast today?
I had a smoothie. I think I've still got the part of the bottle down here. Hold on. There's a little bit of a left. I'm not no sponsor here, but it is Bolt House Farms.
Bolt House
it is
Farms.
Green Goodness. It is a kiwi green apple.
Nice. I had.
And
I think I had some cinnamon toast crunch or something cereal.
Ethan, no, I can't have boxes of cereal sometimes. I did pretty good last time I bought a box of cereal, but usually if I buy a box of cereal, there's no more cereal the next day.
Right. Yeah. It's so easy to eat cereal. I think my vice is really more like Frosted Mini Wheats.
Okay. I was like a Captain Crunch kind of guy. I used
Yeah.
to love Alphabets, Frosted Cheerios. I did like, there's a couple, I like the chocolate ones too. I'm not much of a fruit flavored or cinnamon cereal fan, but I mean, that's what my brother liked growing up. So yeah.
Right. Well, cool. Well, so thank you for coming on. First off, we didn't even really say that. Thank you for coming by. So I've started this I kind of explained a little bit to you. And for those of you watching, I've kind of started this new little bit for Friday nights that I feel like sometimes there's not enough chit-chatting in the world, especially recently. And I've found it fun to just kind of have conversations, and especially for people like you that are a larger streamer that carry larger crowds. Like a lot of times you're on your game all the time. Like, and sometimes it's nice to to get you on to get streamers on to have a little chit chat and to be able to relax a little bit where you don't have to focus on the game. You can just kind of sit back and like you can just be J0hn Bane without playing a video game, and and that way people can get to know you better. They can learn more about you and what makes you J0hn Bane and what you eat for breakfast.
Well, I mean, I guess we've already got most of the interview out of the way.
Yeah.
What you are, what you eat, and then what I had for breakfast. So
Yeah, we're done. That's it. That's all we needed. No,
well, thanks you for the invite.
Yeah.
The invite here was a good I'm fulfilled now.
So, I want to start with we will start with your gaming history. Like, do you have this is kind of I haven't really figured out how to word this question. I keep asking it differently each time, but like, do you have a moment in your brain? Like, do you have a memory of like when you started playing video games and when it kind of hit you
on Atari?
On Atari, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
and then followed by Yars' Revenge and Sequest. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like if there was like a moment where it was like this is what I want to do, and like where you had a life before video games, and then it was like once you started, then you're like, that's all I do now is play video games.
Okay, are you talking about as a content creator, or are you talking about just as being a gamer in general?
As just being a gamer in general, like growing up and like
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like
okay,
was it with
then?
Atari or?
I was really young when I played Atari. I had not the best, friendliest growing up. My mom was amazing, but I'm not gonna get into that too much.
Yeah.
There's questions around that. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. But there are things I escaped into, and the two things I escaped into the whole time growing up was music, like performing, playing music, and then video games. Those and imagination spark type of things. So I say when I was playing Atari, I was too young to. I had fun with them. I think whenever there was a game that we had a Packard Bell, it was an Amstrad, and it was an ASCII character RPG game, and that really got me kind of. And then Nintendo, when it started getting into like Final Fantasy first Final Fantasy, remember the strategy guys from back in the day, the Red Books?
Yeah, like the Prima. I think it was Prima.
No, this was actually from Nintendo Power. They released 3 of them for 3 different games, and one of them was Final Fantasy. And my grandmother had actually given me a subscription to Nintendo Power as a kid, and that was included in it. And I knew Final Fantasy inside and out before I even played it, and it ate me alive before I even touched it. And that was about when I knew I liked video games for sure.
Yeah.
That's probably where it really was like it sunk in.
So you were into a lot of like the early RPG stuff.
I played abroad. Yeah, I played, like RPG wise. I didn't get Dragon Warrior till a little bit later, but I get my hands on that. I got Final Fantasy used for $10 from a friend. But I enjoyed stuff like Rygar.
Right.
I played that on Nintendo. I don't know if Castlevania, Simon's Quest was really good, stuff like that. And it moved into Super Nintendo. Like my favorite game of all time, one of them is called ActRaiser, and that was on Super Nintendo.
Did you own a Sega Dreamcast?
No, we didn't. My brother got his hands on one, but I did not have one myself.
What about what was the other one? The
talking about Neo Geo, maybe?
Yeah. The expensive one. I never played one of those ever.
I had a friend I had two friends who had Neo Geos, and I got to play Keith's Courage on it all the way through. That was the one game I got to play on that system, and it was amazing. Like the graphics blew away both Genesis and Super Nintendo at the time. Like just decimated them.
Yeah. I remember I played the arcade because if I remember correctly, because the console was basically the arcade guts, like the machine.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it was
most
like
of the Neo Geo
$600.
arcade pieces had like 3 to 6 games in them you could play or choose from.
Yeah. Kids don't know about that anymore. Like these kids have no idea.
I remember the first time I saw Dungeons and Dragons Tower of Doom in a freaking arcade. I freaking blew my mind. And then Magic Sword. It was so amazing. Magic Sword was. And then it came out on Super Nintendo, and I saved my money up and bought it. And after I got it home and played it, I walked out of the room after 2 hours, and my mom saw I was visibly disturbed, and she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I already beat it, and it sucked." Oh, no. It was the worst port. First time I ever experienced a bad port was that.
Right.
That letdowns. Graphics sucked compared to the arcade. I was like, I was so ready for some awesome graphics, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
I do remember, like, I kind of remember that kind of letdown. One of my friends, I skipped a lot of console stuff. Like, I started PC gaming pretty early, so like I kind of went from Nintendo, like old like regular 8-bit Nintendo to like Commodore 64. And then kind of moved into like DOS related PC compatible stuff.
I played a lot of DOS stuff too. Yeah. Definitely.
So I skipped all the 16-bit stuff. Like I skipped Super. And actually, if you were a Nintendo Power fan way back then, like you probably remember there was a lot of hype about the Super Famicom that before it became Super Nintendo. Like that was kind of where I was at. I was like, "Oh, dude, Super Famicom, that sounds amazing." And then I kind of got into PC gaming, and then I'd skipped over a lot of the 16-bit stuff. But I remember my friends getting Mortal Kombat on Genesis, and how great the arcade is versus how terrible Mortal Kombat 1 really was on Genesis. But it was,
So the Super Nintendo did a decent job of the Street Fighter port. I do remember that Street Fighter 2. That was decent compared to talking about ports from arcade to the console. Mortal Kombat though, for its time, remember if you were then around them with the arcade, remember how everyone was like, "Look at the graphics, they look real,"
right.
Kind of thing. And there's no way a console at that time could even think about handling that.
Yeah. It was. I was thinking about the other day, like I don't know that we really have arcade games, like especially as adults. Like we don't. The closest I have, like I have my niece worked at it's called Incredible Pizza, and it's kind of like a showbiz, like Chuck E. Cheese kind of deal. It's like a Dave & Buster's for kids, but they have like rides and like go-karts and like miniature golf and like all kinds of stuff. But they have and like street fair, like skill games, like throw the ring on the thing and shoot baskets and whatever. But they have games, like they had arcade games, and it's funny. Like I don't know. I haven't bothered to look into it. I don't know that they make arcade games anymore because all I could find...
It's more of a connoisseur thing, man. It really mostly...
Yeah.
You can order them online. You're dropping between $400 and like $7,000 on an arcade box.
Wow.
But not games specifically made for them.
Right.
That's mostly classic stuff, or they're porting over console type things to a box type setup. I've looked at it before. You can actually get themed arcade boxes to put your stuff in, like a Galaga or newer games and stuff like that, and they come in pieces and you put them together.
Yeah, yeah. Just like I don't think there's like a hot new title that that's coming to the arcade down the street. It was a lot of Android games. It was a lot of like tap this to make this thing. Like it was. I'm like I could play this on my phone, but why would I go to an arcade? It's like a giant. It's like a giant iPad. It's real weird. So what? So I saw you come into the circles around with some of the ARC stuff. So I was curious, like where did you come into the YouTube game? Because my introduction to you was through Slipgator, watching you do some stuff with Slipgator, and where did you come into that picture before that? Like, were you doing content creation before you got into ARC? Like, did you have a YouTube history like leading up to that?
Oh, so like when did I actually decide I'm going to do YouTube type thing? When was that?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of back stuff to this before, like for the reason for it too, but I don't know if you care. So I used to do music, like perform. I used to write, record, play, perform, tour, stuff like that, like on a regional scale and stuff like that. That was my thing for ever since I was 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what was my thing. I actually used to keep jobs so I could do that. The job, like I learned how to cook because that was one of the only jobs I could have to be able to still do music. And was it about 4 years ago? I finally was fed up with it, because with that, you have to rely on 4 other people or 3 other people or however many people to also carry some weight. Right. And you mainly in music and in life, you run across people that are extremely talented that have no fire, but you run into people that have fire that have absolutely no talent. And neither one of those work. It's the rare ones you find there, and then usually you making excuses for it. And I finally got sick of it. And I was playing ARC when it came out, like about a month after it came out initially, with my friend J0hn, and started building a lot with it. And he was like, "Man, that's pretty good, man. You're actually pretty good at that." And I had another friend who said, "You should try some YouTube stuff." And I thought about it, and that was about when I finally got sick of the music thing. I was like, ugh. And by November of that year, I took a week off of work, taught myself how to use Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects and basics of Photoshop for an entire week. Did 5 tester videos, and I decided at that year, at the beginning turn of the year, on January 1st, I was going to do it. And that was right when Scrap Mechanic first came out, and I started with ARC and that. And I'll be honest, before that year, I honestly thought YouTube was full of cat videos and tutorials.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. That's what I thought it was. And then I was like, hey, there's actually stuff in here. And there's people that I've had the very great pleasure of playing with, or inspirations for it. I mean, I'll give Slip, Corrales, Vintage Beef, stuff like that. I haven't played Corrales, but that I've played with. And it was like, the thing, first time ever seeing, I was like, why would anyone want to watch this? And then I found myself like a week later, like, I wonder what they're doing now.
Right.
And then with my friends, I was saying, hey, you do pretty good at this. And I was like, well, if you're going to go into content creation, you need to make sure you've got something you can offer to people that a lot of them might not have or might not have exposure with. And I was like, well, if anything, I've got a decent personality, and I can build pretty good. So let's focus on that and try that out. And so I started with. By then, it was still within a year of the release of ARC for content. I had been playing it before then, and then in Scrap Mechanic. Those were the first 2.
So that's what jumped you into your first videos were ARC videos and Scrap Mechanic videos.
Straight up ARC. And then Scrap Mechanic came out in the middle of January that year, and I probably put out the 2nd or 3rd video ever. The thing that helped me out on that was I decided to build a humongous dragon with a functioning eyes and mouth and flu and stuff. I mean, it was humongous. And I think Mr. Miola took it off the workshop and featured it on one of his videos, and ended up getting me my first 3,000 subscribers or something like that.
Nice. So that was...
And I didn't have any contact with any of these people. This was just me by myself.
Oh, okay.
I did meet Scrapman back in the day. I don't know if you're know him. He had just hit 5,000 subscribers when I hung out with him some, but our chemistry was a little weird back then, and we were still finding out who we were. Now he's like a 450,000 subscriber, but he's a great person. I'm glad that's the only other person I can say know that is still active from back then, or has gotten success from it that I met at that time.
And were you working daytime, quote unquote, like normal job before?
I was a branch manager for an electrical supply company, working between 50 and 60 hours a week.
Oh wow. So 50, 60 hours a week, and then multiple hours into YouTube.
Some days I slept 4 hours.
Oh wow.
And then I'd take a lunch break and go sleep in the parking lot for 30 minutes. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I've had those days, yeah.
I got fired because of YouTube too.
Really?
Not because it was a thing, but my boss didn't like the fact that I was doing something else too. And they're like, he was like a district manager pretty much. And they gave me a really shit store. Excuse me, I don't usually curse, but I feel heavily about this.
You're free to say whatever you want in this. You're a safe space.
I don't usually in my day-to-day curse, but that deserves that there. And they gave me a really crap store, wouldn't give me the resources to do it. I really like games, and I looked at it as like a game to where I could win. And they really wouldn't. They said, you can do anything you want with your store. And I was like, great, but you can't do that. Well, let me order some. No, you can't do that either. Well, can I hire a salesman? You can't do that. It's like, and then someone had stripped the store of its accounts when I got there. So I was left with like 60 crappy stores and told I was supposed to make it into something. And I tried really hard, but anyway, so. And then he didn't like the fact I was like, well, how are you releasing videos at 2:00 in the afternoon? I was like, you can schedule them.
Right.
You can schedule them. I'm not driving home and doing it, So, and then at the same time, I mean, then that was right around when my wife left me too. So it was a bunch of different things at one time. It was interesting. And she didn't leave because of that. There was one day she just told me she didn't love me anymore and then wouldn't talk to me. And then it was like just darkness and despair of fun. That was right around Conan. Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough. That's because usually it's because of video games. I mean, like I've had those situations, where I've had girlfriends that are like, you spend too much time playing Ultima Online. So
well, it wasn't that for me? Because I ran it by too. I said, this is what it is. This is what I'd like to do with it. And like when I was doing the long hours like that, this was like right when that happened ish. I was like, I'm okay, fine. I'm gonna bury in this. Before that, I was doing it big chunks, but we also like she was good with like, these days are yours. That's what I would do. These days are yours, like us, and she knew what the end goal was by doing the YouTube too, and was very aware of what it could become if it does well.
Yeah.
And so there were other underlying problems with personality in the end between the two of us. I'm not trying to be like putting a veil over my eyes. It wasn't that. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
Because there was when I'm in a relationship, I believe in like three things, respect, communication, and honesty. And I pushed that the whole time. And so it was like, I'm completely open with it and blah, blah, blah. And then one day it was just like, I was like, and it destroyed me too. And then my grandmother died and then my uncle died all in a row. It was great.
Man. That's a rough time. Like I do remember seeing like, cause I've watched a lot of you guys from the shadows. Like I just kind of started doing Twitch stuff not too long ago, but I never really got into YouTube. Like I was watching a lot of you guys, like with the Pooping Evolved stuff. And like, so I was aware and I watched a lot of videos. Like I remember you posting or a video or something about how you were going to start doing full time because you were no longer employed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember that.
That was when Pixark was out. That was Pixark time.
Yeah. So I do remember that part, but yeah, I never knew about the other storm of darkness that was accompanying that whole thing.
That was before that happened there. Like the job, I held the job for like another year after that, almost-ish. Like this was during Conan, and then whenever the job thing ended, that was in the middle of Pixark, which was in the middle of April, I believe. And that happened like during Conan, and that's my first season has like 80-some episodes in it, daily episodes, and it happened during that period. And it just so happens like I met B through that. And like his long-term woman left. That's public knowledge. Left him, and he was in a kind of like down, and so we both kind of like how it is when you're both down, you kind of talk, and stuff. I have to give him props. He got me through two really dark times too. And I think I helped him back on one really dark time for him. So I regardless if I talk to him now or not, I still have a lot of love and base level for him, and I had to thank him for Pooping Evolved anyway. So it was. If there was I'm a very strong person. I don't, one thing I told myself when it was all going down was like, you've worked really hard for all this other stuff. Don't let it ruin that too.
Right.
So, you got the eye on whatever it is that you think you got it on. Just got to keep grinding.
Yeah. Cause those are rough. Like I've gone through my shares of terrible women leaving, which is a lot of it's probably my fault too. But yeah, it's
I was married 4 years, I think. 4 years then? 4.5 years married. Yeah, about that long. Yeah, yep, that was about right. So I was with her for a while.
yeah, and there is I do find it funny. Like there is an interesting sympathy that you find like having these conversations, not these, but those conversations like with strangers. Like I always find it because like they don't know you, you know, so it's like you kind of get fresh perspective. Like people would always wonder, like, because I would talk to a lot of strangers on the internet when I was going through breakups and such, and I always found that you get more honest advice because it's like they don't know the people involved, and so that kind of makes sense. Like if you and somebody else that is both kind of going through a similar situation that maybe you don't really know each other, like it's really easy to bond over situations like that. It's a sad time.
Yeah, I think it was more of a consoling with each other than necessarily like advice per se. It's just like having like this since that point, like I have a thing in life too. Is like when you're in your very darkest point ever, the world has proven there's polarizations of everything. So when you're in your very darkest point ever, there's somewhere out there, even though you can't see it, is the brightest position you'll ever be in, and it's available to you. You just have to make it through that dark point. So I mean that was a great exemplification of that. Like because like I was still when that whole thing like hers and the people dying and stuff was happening, I really hadn't grown to where I was like this might become a thing. And like when it started becoming a thing, even then I was like, I'd trade to have my grandmother and uncle and wife back for anything for that. But you accept it and move on, and you learn from it the best you can. So, and I do this all the time. I do run on ideas. So if I run off a topic, I'm sorry.
No, you're. Hey, that's what we're here for. Is also I forgot to change our title. Hold on, I needed to do that.
We're virtual Disneyland. Isn't this happy? I'm not trying to bring it down either. I'm trying to be honest with you. I mean,
no, I think everybody else enjoys the honesty as well.
And it's not for pity type stuff. This is what happened, really. I mean, the best thing in life is to a lot of people put stuff away and decide to live in a bubble. Other people like overly hardly grasp it. And you got to take it and you got to learn from it and you got to remember it, but you don't dwell on it. So. And then you share it with other people, so they might be able to pull something from it that might help them too. So that's where I'm at with mentally.
Yeah, like I spend. Here's a weird thing I do. I spend a lot of time reading. I've been single for a while, but I spend a lot of time reading relationship forums to remind myself of how crazy people are, and also to learn like. On the subject of breakups, it's like I found that everybody kind of has like the same story, that it's one person is something has happened and they're like, this is what's going on and I don't know why it happened, and this my girlfriend, boyfriend, like they're not talking to me anymore. That is one day they're like, I'm done, and one person is always taken by surprise, and one person is always like, well, there's something. Like we have something magical, like there's something there, and this is exceptional and special. And the mass opinion is like, no, it's not. It's not. Like everybody thinks their situation is special, and then you start reading these stories, and you're like, holy shit! Like
individually it's special to them, because what a lot of people do with experiences that are happening is compare it to what they've already experienced, and not necessarily what they've read or heard about. So for an individual experience, if you take it within their lifespan of what they have to compare it to, it might be very special if you compare it to the history of what they've had thus far or think they have.
Right.
But if you look at it, there is a common trait amongst the board of it too, across the world, for that. And it's definitely, every instance might have its own little coloration or spice to it to vary it up. But to that individual, I could see that being considered special. And I'm not defending it. My mind, stuff happens. Even with all what happened to me, there's a lot worse crap that's happened to a lot of other people out there.
Right.
Seriously. So it could be a lot worse, So I mean, lucky in that respect. But I would probably say if you're doing a generalization on it, it's true. But then when you go down to the individual, again, they're going based off of their past experiences. And again, if they felt this strongly about someone and had great memories develop it from that, and a different kind of emotional tie, then it would be special and per se them. And then, of course, when it all shatters, then, everybody can pretty much compared to that type of story, unless you had that picture book, high school sweetheart still married, which you do, God bless you.
Right.
And I'm very happy to hear that that is true, and I know people that have that. So
yeah,
but it's. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying like
It's
there's always
it's an
points of
interesting
view of how
perspective.
to look at it, and the best thing, like well, I'm not gonna say the best thing because that's my opinion, but it just is what it is, and yeah, we all wouldn't relate to each other if we didn't have common experiences,
Right.
and we all wouldn't relate to each other if our common experiences were a little different, because then that makes it more interesting and stuff that we find that we like to learn from other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's the I think that's the overall, like, that's the part I like, is just seeing that. I think a lot of it is realizing that you're not the only one. I think that's where where I was going with that, is like a lot of times it always seems like this doesn't happen to everybody, but then you see that it does, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't feel so terrible then.
I feel like mine's a little bit different-ish for me, like in just how it was, because I didn't. First of all, like I assumed, like I know something bad's gonna happen sometime.
Yeah.
I just had 3 in a row happen, and then at the same time, really good stuff was happening, which was like how YouTube was turning out, kind of the content creation. And
Yeah.
then it was just weird for me just how it did the bam, bam, bam. I was like, there's the 3. You know how things come in threes,
Right,
but
right.
and again, other people have had that too. But I think the line above it, it was a major test of my personal fortitude, I think, during that time, and that's where my individuality for it is. It's like, I where I am looking at now. If I was that person back then seeing me, I'd probably be proud of where I've gone so far. I probably feel like you could have done a lot better too, but you're definitely not doing bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm not. It's not saying that you're wrong with everything. I'm just like another point of view, I guess, on it for myself. Looking at it, it was just like if it was just her gone, or like grandmother or my uncle dying and something like that. That would have been. It still sucks. It would have been a little bit easier to manage. But when it hits you on the road, and then when you're driving home in an empty car to an empty house,
Right.
with empty everything, that's the one day that got me, was that mentality. Like I was driving and it hit me, and it was over for me for a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, but that's how it goes. What do?
Yeah.
You either give up or you keep going. All right, and if you go in between, that's not the way to go. Well, giving up's not the way to go either. But you just got to keep trucking, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that's all you can do. Or they win. You don't want them to win, do you?
Right. It's true. Life's a garden. Keep on trucking. Isn't that the phrase?
I think so.
Life's a beach. Can you dig it? I think I got this wrong. So we'll talk about something fun now. No.
Whatever's wrong. You can ask what you want. I mean, if it's something I feel I can't, then I'll let you know. But like, ask away, man.
Yeah. No, I kind of got sidetracked. Sorry. So the music stuff. What kind of music did you play? Do people know about the music side of this? Like, do people know that you did music?
Like all the music in my YouTube videos that are on the main channel is written by me.
Okay.
I started off piano when I was 7 years old, classically trained, picked up guitar when I was 13, started writing songs when I was 15, started being in bands when I was 17, stayed in bands until I said, screw it, pretty much. The one band we played up and down the East Coast, played Hard Rock Cafe in Atlanta, stuff like that. And it was mostly in the harder side. Lightest ever been was like hard rock. The heaviest was I was a vocalist for it was kind of like somewhat of a progressive hardcore type of mixture with a bit of death metal mixed into it, and I did vocals for that. The guitar music stuff was anywhere from the hard rock side to I have my current the last few influences like Mastodon, Tool, Opeth, things like that. And the writing was that the last project I was working on that never went live was called Sparrow. It was a 3-piece, and we were doing progressive kind of style of hard rock-ish kind of a little bit of a doom influence here and there, and a little bit of other things like that. So anywhere in that genre between hard rock and some form of metal is usually what I lean to. I did write a lot of ethereal kind of atmospheric kind of music as well, like keys and programming, and actual classical style music too.
That's incredibly impressive.
Well, when you do something for so long, you better not suck. And I just still don't think I'm that great. I think it's good, but I don't think it's the greatest.
Do you have, aside from the bands, like you said, what Mastodon, Tool, Opeth, do you have do you have individual musicians that were influences on how you wanted to progress, or like a sound that you wanted to achieve, or was it just?
I like different things, and I like to feel. I'm a feel writer.
Right.
When it comes to it, I like to feel something, and if I feel it, then I go with it. And if I can write other feelings that complement that feeling musically, I do it. And when you're going for a band, you're typically you have decided with the other people in the band about what type of genre you're going for, and then you have like a give and take on either end of the spectrum that some things can touch into. So I would say like band wise, trying to sound like the last project, it sounded, I would say if I said anything kind of like Opeth Mastodon-ish kind of stuff, but it wasn't necessarily by design. That just happened to be, I was listening to a lot of that with a lot of
Hmm.
other music, and just my interpretation of what sounds I like coming out of my guitar when it finally came together with the band started to sound like that. And so, and I wouldn't, there's a different way you can, it's like people with content creators or painting or anything like that. There's biters that are actually specifically trying to do it. And then you've got people that listen to a rate of sounds, take it in and find what they like from it, and then express that enjoyment through the way, through their instrument, whatever that might be. And people, the only, I found the easiest, most people can't explain music without attaching bands to what it sounds like. You know, it's like,
Right, right.
yeah, I play like a pseudo progressive sludge metal with a tad bit of ethereal ambient postmodern rock on there with this. What the hell is that?
Right.
Oh, it sounds like Mastodon means. Oh, why did you say in the first place? So, you know, explaining it is like that. But yeah, for me, it's always been about the feel. And like my old drummer was all about if it moved your head, it had to move your head, or
Yeah.
he thought it sucked, kind of thing. I'm not necessarily like that, but that's one aspect of what you're looking for.
Gotcha. So what made
Did that
you?
answer your question, or did I run off the side? I
Yeah,
don't
no,
even
that
know.
I mean,
Okay.
that's one of those. That's exploratory. That's an exploratory question, just to see, like if there's, if you have influences of like this person, I like this person's style, and I like this person's this, or I like that person's this. Like
Yeah, just yeah. I'm an album guy if I
right.
can help it. I'm an album guy. I individual songs are nice and all. I like albums. Um, oh, he's always saying albums. Well, no, the sense of an album where you put it on and you forget about it. That's what I mean by that. You know, like there's a band, God forbid, there was a terrorist organization called ISIS. I love ISIS.
Mm,
Wavering Radiant is an amazing album. Listening to it straight through, the way they build layers. Tool I got burned out on Tool. I listened to so much Tool. I had one day when Pandora just came out, I was like, I need something different, and I threw Tool in there, and that's how I found all these other great bands like Russian Circles, even into like Animals as Leaders, Tesseract, stuff like that. The Genti kind of style of things. It all just opened up this whole new world for me from then. And but I listened to a lot of Tool, and it just I like their albums. Like, you know, you
right.
got even in Enema and stuff like that. It just creates a soundscape of which you listen to the whole experience of it, so you get this roller coaster, because that's human mind doesn't like flat. It doesn't like always
Right.
loud. Sometimes it's good, but it likes a good roller coaster. So, you know, I like a good album. Now I can't say I don't appreciate. I'm not gonna say I don't appreciate good songs. That's not to be a lie if I said that. But when I'm listening to music, listening to it, I do prefer a good album. There might be things that shine for me out of it, like the Contortionist is their first album was great. Near the end of it, it kind of gets a little lackluster, but it still had a flow to it. And then you got like bands, like I said, Tesseract. If you listen to Tesseract, album one, like that whole album is amazing. It's
Mm,
in my top five. So it just that's how I listen to it, I guess. And so trying to take that in as an influence, I think the goal with the writing from bands is like looking for. I always wanted to have the album that all the songs flowed together, but if you played them individually, they stood out for themselves too. And that
right.
was, I guess, that was my goal that I took from all the different influences, was to go for that.
And I kind of I think I'm with you on that. Like I enjoy the complexity of like the complexity and a journey of an entire album that you feel like there's something that happened from the beginning to the end of it, and that you have all of this texture in the middle of the album and like throughout the whole album. And instead of just like here's the song and then here's the song and then here's the song, like when
Mm.
they flow together and when it creates a story or when it creates an atmosphere or the whole album creates an emotion or it creates like a
Yeah.
sense of
Or it goes through different forms of emotion, like
yeah.
telling the story. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy that. It's funny that it's funny, ironic. I was actually watching a video I hadn't found yet. It was an interview with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross talking about how they were creating the soundscapes and the scores for the movies they've done, and then for Watchmen. And you kind of said exactly what Trent Reznor was saying, that he created his stuff. Like you use the music. It's like it's one thing to write a song, but then it's something else, or to write lyrics, but then it's another thing to write music that accompanies that, not just carries a rhythm, but music that also creates part of that story and carries that story that's in the lyrics. And it sounds,
it elevates it is what you're going for. You're not trying to compliment. Well, complimenting is good, but elevating is when it has a chance to go next level.
Yeah. It's very interesting that, because like literally I heard that 3 hours ago. So so I think basically,
God dang it, you caught me.
You're a genius. You're basically, are you Trent Reznor? Did you shave?
No, I'm not. I'm 6'3", dude.
Okay.
I'm way bigger than him, dude.
So,
you'd be like, what's up?
So when so you went from being into heavy metal and singing heavy metal into being a rapper.
Yeah, kind of. Wait. It's just like you get to the point where you don't give a damn. You don't give a damn, really, honestly. And it's like you're talking about the Arc or Conan, right?
Yeah. I saw it. It was great. But I needed a great segue with a great like cut, dry sense of humor to just throw that out there. And
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good one. That just makes me laugh. It made me laugh. You're good. You're good. I'm about as dry and cynical as you can get sometimes. So, do you have questions regarding the hit from J0hn Bane featuring Rocky X Gaming?
Yeah, that rap, like the I've started watching some of the Cobra stuff, and the idea that all of you can rap is fascinating.
I just do it. Back actually when and by the way, when I was in music, I wrote most of the songs I played. I didn't just do vocals, but I did vocals a lot of the time. But
okay.
There's some of the stuff. There's one band in that was almost Mudvayne-ish, and I would have to say vocal style with it because they called for it. And so there was screaming, singing, and then almost a rap kind of scream type thing you used to do too. And it just you got, man, my rap style is if I were to, I don't even call myself a rapper because I just happen to do a song. But I wrote the music to that. That's all me. Except for like the couple parts I took clips and like what will you do? I did that actually myself and stuff like that. But I wrote that. And I reached out to Rocky for it too, because he raps on his thing. And I found out after the fact, I was like, I want to do a video, and I was going to do this and this. So we get a guest person. He said he was down, and then he said, I did something like that on my channel. I was like, God dang it! I mean, I assume somebody's done it before, but I didn't expect the guy that I asked to come do a rap on me had done it already on his channel,
right?
But I wrote I got my verse together pretty quickly, then got the chorus set up, and then he came back with his. We cleaned up some things, and then we each did green screens, and then I spent about 65, 70 hours in After Effects making the video.
65, 70 hours, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's head tracking. You're actually point tracking with Adobe After Effects, and you're taking live footage. You're having to mask every single take you take. To where mask the face right, resize it correctly, do perspectives correctly. So sometimes in a 3D space on a 2D screen, and trying to make it all track to some degree. Some of the video footage I had to move frame by frame, move the head with the body the correct way to make it work.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot of work. See, that's the thing too, is I think a lot of people that are not behind the scenes, people that are watching videos, like I don't think they always realize how much work that you guys put into creating this stuff, and how much time off camera you're doing.
My last 2 weeks, man, I've slept between 3 and 6 hours, and I've either been awake eating. I finally left the house one time to go take a walk. Other than that, I've been working on like the new channel stuff. That's all I've been doing, and then streaming. Yeah, that's it. I do nothing else. It's running your own business. If you know anything about running your own business, this is exactly what it is. And if you care about your own business, you're going to put hours in. Yeah. Like when Scrap Mechanic Survival came out, I was sleeping naps. I was taking 1 to 2 hour naps, playing the game, recording, slamming out videos, trying to get 2 to 3 out a day to get in that algorithm to be like to actually be worth a damn. And it worked. Yeah. But it sucks after about day 6 when you've slept for a total of like 12 hours over 6 days. It starts to grate on you a little bit, but it doubled my subscribers on YouTube.
Nice. So
you give up something for something,
Yeah. So speaking of the YouTube, Are you feeling the effects of the whole adpocalypse nonsense that's been going on for a while now? Or is that?
I've never been big enough to know what the money was like, to be honest. You want to the
Yeah.
like straight up skinny of it? No, it's like it's right now. Like every cent helps right now. So I'm not worried about that. If you're
Right.
worried about that, it will discourage you.
Right.
If you really have a goal, there's a couple things. If you really like what you do, or you really have a goal for it, or or a combination of both, that's something that is an uncontrollable constant, that if you put any type of energy into it, you're wasting that energy from something else that could help you proceed forward.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's a valid question you're asking, but that's my point of view of it. It's like, there's nothing in hell I could do about it. I can't go tell, hey, Pepsi, it's not that bad, but give us more money. I can't do anything like that. So it's just like, yes, I do still want to do this. Yes, I really enjoy doing it. Yes, I have other visions of things I would really love to accomplish. That's not even what I'm doing now within the realm. How do I get there? No, just keep grinding, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just nothing you can do about it. And what I've seen and felt from it, I've always been about my community. That's been my thing. Like, and been trying my best to be honest and have integrity. And that's what I'm more worried about that. And if you stay like that, then, and the people know that when you are, typically there's good liars out there. I've met some good liars. But like they support you, and which I always say I'm grateful for. And then the other side of it, with the YouTube side of it, is just like, if you constantly put out content, you're going to get something that's going to help you get through too, regardless if it's the paycheck that Social Blade lies about, or
right.
or
that you have $17 million. That's what Social Blade says.
Yeah. What?
No, I don't know.
I was going to say, God, I was doing pretty good thing. God dang.
Yeah, no, I know Social Blade always says like crazy, ridiculous numbers of like, these people make X amount of dollars, and you're like, no, that's not even close to that at all. It's not anywhere near that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, well, they're taking in as much as a possibility, because they don't know exact CPM and a bunch of other factors that go into it. So they take what they do know and then give the average, or the range, I think, from that. So
yeah,
I mean, I have yet to, I'm thankfully I can pay my bills every month, and I try my best to save as much as I can. That's and it's like rock and roll stars you read about in the 80s who made it or something like that. Then they blow all their cash, and then they're cooking and they're dead now.
Right.
If I ever got to wherever it came in, I've established a means on how to live. Anything else, probably do charities and stuff like that, honestly. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just just trucking along.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, that's a fair point though. I mean, as far as your community, like staying honest and keeping your integrity, and keeping, I feel like open communication and keeping, staying tight with your community is a big thing. And a lot of people don't do that. So it's very positive that you do that. I
try my best. I like run multiple game servers. Like I invested in a machine at the very beginning when I still had my other job, so I could at least run ARC servers for the community. There's been times when we've had in our Discord for the Maniacs, like 10 different game servers up. I've done my best to offer that, to have people have a good community to play with, on top of having the other things around that. Just trying to be creative. Like, these people are one of the, I'm cutting you off and change the subject.
No, you're fine. No, this is,
if people are willing to take their entertainment slot time and have you be in there, that's there's a lot of content creators that don't appreciate it, and they just like are used to it. Right. And it's like, for me, it's like they're willing to do that. What can I do in my power to give something back to help enhance their enjoyment for being here? I appreciate for them willing to watch me be an idiot on the screen. What can I do back to help them? And that's always been my thing. So the game servers, and we have different things. I'm not trying to advertise for me.
Oh, you can absolutely advertise.
Well, it's not. It's just like it's like, if it's part of the thing, if you're going to content creator, depending on how you're sculpting your brand. And that's part of mine, I mean, not everybody is fit to have stuff like that, but like just trying to think of things to make it more of a community type of thing is really important as a content creator, especially like in my sizes or smaller, as I would think, because, either it just makes sense. Like being in a band, when I was in a band, I made shirts. I was this thing, whenever I was done playing, I get off, talk to people,
right.
Even the drunk dude, you guys rock, be like, right. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. I mean, buy a beer, It's just part of what you do if that's what you love doing. So,
yeah.
And I just got off on the railroad tracks again.
Hey, that's what this is about. That's what this is about. You think this is a structured thing? We're not.
I thought you would. I thought you did some deep dive. I thought this was like Hot Ones. You did the research. You're coming at me, man. You're coming at me while the sauce is deep in the brain. I'm going to come at you with this Instagram. I need you to tell me.
I need to know about your OnlyFans. I need to mention two new follows, El Hopsy and Phantom Piper. Thank you for the follows. The community stuff, because it is actually, it's so tough to find comfortable places to play online games these days, because online communities are often public servers are often so toxic and so full of nonsense,
and it's even more rampant with like survival games,
right? Especially if there's PvP involved, it seems like that. Yeah,
shoot, PvE, they'll freaking spam foundations all over the entire map. I had that happen one time. I was like, never again, never again.
So it's a great service. That, I mean, when you put out servers for people to play, I mean, like sub servers and stuff like that, it's amazing, because some people just want a place to play a game, and maybe they want to play alone, or maybe they just want to. Like for me, sometimes I like to know that other people are there. I don't necessarily want to go build things with them, or whatever, but it's like it's kind of a cool social idea to feel like somebody else is in this world with me. That's also doing
it's like
this.
I look at it like this, like a temperature thing. Like, let's say you just want to hang out, but you're glad the people on there. You like a nice warm server. It's not necessarily anything going on. It's warm. You don't want to go on a cold server unless you want to be completely isolated. That's a cold server. You want a warm one. There's a couple guys. There might be a couple small cliques playing on there. That's fine. They're doing things. They're not messing with anyone. You run along. Oops, you just ran past them. Oh, there's somebody there. It kind of go on. And then if you want something more hot, then that's the ones you get more interactive, where the community is working together or more active with however they do. So I'm kind of a warm server guy. I was a cold server guy before content creation, because I played a lot of MMOs, a lot, like of hours in them. And by the time I got into survival, I was like, I just want to hang out with a friend.
Right.
I hang out with a friend, man. My business, tame some dinosaurs and break some stuff, and build things, but. Yeah, that's typically what we run on ours too, is like a warm one. You got some people that work together, a couple clicks here and there typically, but it's generally, we're just all just chilling on there. And it's like, that you're on there when you log off, when you log back on, your stuff's still going to be there. If you need help, there's a chance there might be someone that can help you with something, but on the whole, you just, doing your thing. And I think that's good. That's a good mentality to have.
Yeah. Oh, we got more. Sorry, I got more love here. Zanaja, thank you for the follow. Indiana Scones is taken off. All right. And Dr. Seps gifted a sub to Indiana Scones. Well done. Thanks so much. So MMOs, did you have a favorite MMO? What was your biggest time sink MMO?
Well, I've talked about this on my stream, but my druid from Vanilla has over 3 years played on it. I did competition rating. It's in ICC, we were ranked 18th in the United States in progression pre-nerf.
Oh wow!
I did hardcore. When Terra came out, I was the first Lancer to max level on my server. It was Lancer Prime. I played beta tested Lineage 2. Played a game called Horizons where you can play as a dragon. DAOC was my first true MMO, like heavily. I played some Ultima, did some EverQuest, I did some Star Wars Galaxies, but DAOC, I played the hell out of that. Started off as Midgard and went over to Albion. After the WoW stuff, I continued on pretty heavily. Mop sucked, WoD was worse. Actually, the character development and talents builds in Mop was okay. But did a large amount of that, bounced around from that. I backed Ashes of Creation heavily, and that was my gift from my wife leaving me. I was like, screw it, I'm going to kickstart this and pay a lot of money, and I'll never, ever do that again.
Right.
But it's a good game. Looks like it's a good game. But yeah, World of Warcraft, I have several years played into it across the board. I have a warrior I've played almost as much as I've played my druid. So if you say over 3 years on a druid, so about 6 years played on World of Warcraft.
Nice. I played a bit. I did play like a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, or back when it was early, like when it first came out. I played when it came out. I was on it vanilla. It was the end of November, or in the beginning November it came out, and then when Christmas hit, it exploded even more. But yeah, that was some serious times. Yeah, so I did some raiding then too, but didn't really pick it up until later on. I mean, I even got whenever the gate opened up for BC, I got the special tabard from the event that happened then. Still have it, and my characters and stuff like that. So
And I would say that Wrath of Lich King was an amazing time that I'm glad I was able to be aware to this is something you need to appreciate now because it's probably never going to happen again type of moment, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I do. I see. My game was. It's funny. I played Dark Age of Camelot briefly, but I played Ultima Online before that. That was my intro to spending all of my minutes on a game was playing Ultima Online for hours and hours a day.
Well, if you want that, like we can go back to Gold Box TSR games for talking about all your time in it. Like as Shattered Sun, I played the living crap out of that Dark. And there was a couple other games that we talking about. That was the beginning.
Yeah.
And then when Diablo first came out, that was freaking oh my god. I remember going to my friend's house and like he was like, "Are you even my friend anymore?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "All you do is come over here and play Diablo." I'm like, "I'm sorry, good game."
So do you have a? I know we talked about like your early on games were more RPG type stuff. Do you have a preference? Like, what is your like for if you're gonna play alone, not streaming, not content. If you want to sit down and play a video game, what is your go-to? Like your genre? Is it like FPS or is it survival? Or do you even have that thought anymore?
I have. What do I have? What
do you even have that thought anymore of like I've got free time to myself to play a video game that has nothing to do with work?
I make that happen. Like lately, I've been playing an auto clicker game when I have a window.
Yeah,
it's like it's an evolution one. I mean, honestly, for me, it just sounds this is back when you were younger. You had friends like, "What kind of girl do you like? You like blondes, blah blah blah." It's like
right.
It depends on the individual.
Yeah.
It depends on how do they carry themselves, how do they rock it out, what type of personality is behind that makes them attractive. It's not necessarily these specific traits. Yes, they're traits, but how is the combination and how's the person pulling it off? And that's how I am with games. I'm not really a platformer, but this one was really good and I like it a lot. First person shooter, but this one's put together good. If I had to choose something, I'm a big fan of fantasy, high fantasy specifically. I really like high fantasy a lot. I DM for Dungeons & Dragons for many, many years. And that's probably a big influence on that. But like high fantasy, I do like sci-fi, but then there's things in it that I like. Like my library on Steam is pretty diverse. RTSs, MMOs, survival, some FPS type stuff. I don't really care for BRs because I think they're throwaway type of like once you're done, you're done. There's no progression. Battle passes is a cheap excuse for progression, in my opinion. But I did like the original Fortnite, Save the World. So like it's weird. Like yes, I like a variety. What I have on my desktop right now that is not work. Actually, nothing. Hold on.
I think you did a lot of building videos for Fortnite. I think, didn't you?
Those are some of the biggest videos on my channel. Was when Fortnite Creative came out.
Yeah.
That was a different side of it where it was just building, and I hate creative mode in games. I don't cheat either when I play, like because it makes it boring. Like for me, like that's why survival games are good. You get to build, but you have other things that require to be done, or when you get tired of it, you got something else you can go do. When you play creative mode, that's all you do, and after a while, when you start getting drained, there's no break. You're just gonna do that, or you don't play the game. So that's why having a Fortnite creative. I started doing it, and after a while, it was just like it's the same pieces. In the same area with another building that looks the same. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm outie. I'm looking at games that I'm Forager. I played Forager when that first came out. I got my hands on that. What's another one in here that I've got that I've played? I played jigsaw puzzle games.
Jigsaw puzzle games, nice. What about pinball? So. Are you a pinball wizard?
No. I don't. I find more mental stimulation from doing jigsaw than pinball personally, but that's the one I play that I kind of want something relaxed, but it still uses that side of your brain. I do play Hard Space Shipbreaker every now and again, but I don't really have time to really invest into it. I'm just looking through. I like random weird games too. Like I have the typing games. I have a couple of those, like where you actually use typing.
Yeah.
To do stuff, usually I save my creative juices for like YouTube type or content creation type stuff for that, so I don't burn them out when it comes time to work. So like builderizations type level stuff I usually save live, or if I'm grinding it for like a YouTube episode, that's when I play it. And it's not that I don't want to play it, but burnout is so real in the side of the job. People don't understand.
Yeah.
There's two different mentalities. Yes, you might have put 4 million hours into Ark Survival Evolved just playing it, but the other people might have put in 1 million hours with having to think about content creation, focusing on ideas the entire time to make sure you have a cohesive, interesting, somewhat good episode to put out over the course of years. It's a whole other level. It's a whole other level. 1 hour of that equals about 20 hours of like just sitting back and playing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so like, I almost did it with Scrap Mechanic. I almost hit the burnout. I was like, stop. You can't do that. You got to keep it going. And yeah, I'm talking a lot now. So
no, that's what this is about. That's what that's for. Now, because I found that like with I have trouble. I've realized trying to stream survival games because I tend to want to just stand around and do things slowly and like dick around in the game and not have an agenda. You know, like my agenda kind of just happens organically instead of like I'm going to do this, and this. And kind of like you said, I mean, I think that people I feel are kind of gravitated toward having a story arc, you know, that you've got a beginning and you have like a culmination of the events and then you have an ending. You have a conclusion to this. Like you have a goal and you achieve the goal. And when you just mill around doing nothing, then it's like there's no... You're like, what do you... It's like watching a bad movie. You're like, when is this going to be over? What's the point?
It's how you present it, man. In my opinion, it's how you present it and how you rock it out. Let me put it in term like band names. Who the hell would think a band named Bush would come out with top singles, or a band named Korn would have anything that... What the hell? What the heck are they writing? You know, they rock it the hell out and they did what they need to do. That's the band thing. Like with the stream type of thing, how you present it is to me. If that's how you do it, present it and mean it.
Yeah.
Like if you mean just to hang out and just kind of see how it goes, then rock that out. Like that's like it's like, you know, with like I was heavy before, and there's people that take pictures where the angle's right where they don't look heavy when you're trying to date people, and I'm like, don't do that. Those people that come and find you think you're different. Rock yourself out. Be proud of who you are. Become what you're supposed to be and rock it out. Then someone's gonna love you for that. So if that's what you like to do on stream, man, rock it out, dude. I mean, this is how it is. It's whatever you believe in. If that's what you like to do, and you show that to people, the people that matter to you and your community will enjoy that. You know, that's. I wouldn't say you have to have that. Now, we are so like short goal minded these days, like instant gratification level like that. But there are people out there that aren't based just on that. You know, there's people that have more to them, that want a little bit more substance. And that's how you do it. Even though you're not aiming at something, if you're consistent with that and you're having fun doing that, and you create a great place to hang out and watch it, I personally don't have any issue with it. You know, you might have slower growth or something like that, but it's still a valid way to do it.
Yeah. It's very interesting. You know? Do you on that note, do you have people always ask, and so this is your turn to answer this. What is your advice if a person wants to start creating content? They want to start making YouTube videos. They want to start streaming on Twitch. Do you have what is J0hn Bane's words of advice for that?
Okay, I'll try and keep it organized. I'll try if I can. And this, I'm nowhere near like the most experienced dude in the world. So this is coming from here, and I'm nowhere near a perfect person. So, but this is what I guess I would say: find what you like about it. First off, like what do you like about content creation? Identify that. What's drawing you to it? That's really important, because when it gets into the thick of the grind, if that reason isn't good enough, you shouldn't start it. First off. It's if you want any sort of level of success, you're going to grind at some point, and that's when you have to make sure whatever it is driving you is what you want. That's the biggest thing, because if it's kind of a then you're gonna end up wasting time, in my opinion. Just make sure the reason why you're doing it is really a good reason to you, and that's all that matters. No matter what anyone else thinks. If you think it's good and it's something you believe in, rock it out. For you, that's your reason. Like for me, I wanted to. Just share and be part of something that was similar to music, but was fulfilling and driven by myself, but then also fueled by the community type of thing. Second of all is, if you're going to do it, figure out what you're going to offer to people that makes it special or different. You see, like me, I could be sitting from the screen and not do it. And the people watching, like, I can do that on my own. Why would I want to watch that? Find something that you think can give, whether it's humor, strong personality, you're amazing at speed runs, whatever it is. Identify that too, and kind of figure out, okay, how does that work with my main goal? And then do research. on how to do it. Don't go around and ask people. Almost everybody that's somewhere mainly did a bunch of research. And then when you come to people that have done it, you have, instead of how do I start making videos? No, you come back in like, hey, so what kind of bitrate rating, blah, 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 do you know? Be familiar with it. There's plenty of information on there. Be familiar on it. And so then you have a foundation of asking the right questions to people to get help, instead of a general blanket. I think those are the three big things. There's like 6 or 7 other things you could add to that, but those would be the 3 big things.
Nice. And excuse me, and SEO. SEO is a big thing, right?
No, impression. Actually, your impression click-through rate is the most important thing on YouTube. What that is when it's presented to an audience, who clicks on it and who stays, how long.
Yeah,
that's what YouTube right now is using. That's their thing. SEO is great, kind of, but what YouTube's going to present you to somebody somewhere, even if it's small. Like I started a second channel, and I'm looking at the analytics. It still gets presented to people. What you're looking at is that impressions click-through rate. That is the winner. That's affected by watch time, many other things. But that right now, I watched how it worked through Scrap Mechanic and Grounded, and that is the thing you're looking for. So you present it. SEO is great to get a little bit wider or something out there, but YouTube will put you out there as long as you're not having some of the stuff they demonetize. Nowadays. If it's not that stuff, you're looking for that good impression click-through rating.
So what you said you started a second channel. What is your second channel that you're doing? Or do you want to talk about it?
It's called J0hn Bane TV. Yeah, I'll talk if you want.
I want to.
Well, one thing I'll say is this is the kind of thing, like in the back of my mind the entire time doing this, it's starting to feel like in general, the 30-minute gameplay is a little bit stale, just a little bit. Not saying it's bad or anybody doesn't suck, not at all. It's the same, which is fine, and you can do things to keep it going and keeping it up. I was like, we do so much good stuff on the streams that are like, I'm an idiot sometimes. I'll be honest, I'm an idiot on my streams just because I'm multitasking my butt off, managing a stream, doing this and that, playing a game, trying to that. I wordsmith my face off sometimes.
Yeah.
And I got together with my friend J0hn, who he and I worked on a game together for a while before Conan hit. I don't get into that. But he asked me if he wanted to edit stuff for me. So what it is we're taking down the streams, every stream, and distilling it down to 10 to 15-minute videos of all the stuff together, but it's still a cohesive to tell the story with not idiotic. No, it's just I'm silly sometimes, and it's the things that happen and the reactions to what happens. And I can't believe I'm going through it. I can't believe some of the stuff I say. But then he's doing a great job in editing it, like to make it even more of a story and comedical, whatever the word is, comedic. It's hard to explain. It's a little bit different. Like how people have highlight videos for like BR stuff on like YouTube sometimes, right? Those guys like that. How they have that kind of editing, or some of the people have that. It's kind of similar to that, but it's not that. But it's not this, and it's not that. It's kind of newish hybrid type thing that we're doing. But every single stream, he and myself and Masonator, which I reached out to him. He's one of the people in my communities from back in the day. He does his own content creation. He's helping edit. The 3 of us are taking in every stream, digesting it, creating episodes, and putting them up. And it's 10-minute, 15-minute videos. And again, you have to watch it. Maybe you'll have a better thing. I have usually like even with building and stuff like that, I got this general idea of what I want. And then I let it you're cooking it, and you let it become what it needs and coax it in a direction. That's where it is right now. You can go to, if you do a search just on Google, J0hn Bane TV, it should come up. There's an intro video there, kind of breaks into it. But like we have everything I've streamed from last week and into this week is going up on there. And it's not like a VOD. I don't think VODs work for YouTube at all. So this is probably the best way to describe it. It's like making streams work for YouTube, where it still feels like it's kind of for the people watching it, versus when you watch a VOD, you feel like you're watching a past broadcast. Whereas if you're watching a video crafted for YouTube, it feels like you're kind of present, and that's what we're going for.
Nice.
Sorry,
I like
it's
that
a run
idea.
on. It's hard to explain it. It's just now that I think about it, it's different.
No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, that's because you're right. I mean, it is one thing to take highlights, but that a highlight doesn't really create a story, like you were saying. I mean, so that's got to be a lot of work to go through 4 hours of video and break that down into 15 minutes of cohesive story.
And sometimes it might make 2 episodes, sometimes it might make 1, and then sometimes like I And the thing is like I'm not focusing my streams to complement this YouTube channel. I'm kind of changing some of the games I'm doing on stream because I want to play other games too.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got 4,000 hours in Ark. I'm good.
Right.
I've got almost 2,000 hours in Conan. I'm pretty good on that, right now. And it's not that I hate the games, not that I'll never play them again, but there's so much other games I haven't been able to play because that's all I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I've been like kind of taking a break from that and doing some other stuff. And it's like, well, it happens to fit in this format of what we're doing right now. And so like, Kill It With Fire, Fall Guys. I never thought I'd ever play that on stream, but I have. Just random a coin game. That's what it's called, the coin game. That's what it is. So it's arcade game, weird thing, So but it's not stream highlights. It still feels like a weird ass video.
Right.
If you got a few minutes, if you would check it out, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. The intro is okay. The channel trailer is together. I built that, but all the videos that you see up on there is the work of either 2 or 3 people working together to craft it and out the door.
Yeah, well, that's really cool, though. Diversification is always a good thing as well.
Well, right now I've got a lot of hands-on with it. It's like whenever I feel like I'm nowhere near as bright or intelligent as that man is, but Elon Musk has got his hands on several different projects on that. And whenever he starts something new, he dives in it and he's got to stay in it for a while till it kind of runs. Right now, I'm trying to kind of get it along and see how much Jameson and Masonator can handle for it, and see how much I need to step in before I get back on my main channel and back to content there. And it's just, like last Sunday I slept 3 hours. I got up and then had to work all day with stuff, recording and stuff. And yesterday I finally slept for 7 hours. Felt really good. But it's a passion, and I'm not doing it. I'm doing it because I love it, and I think it's good entertainment, and I think it makes great content, and it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. It totally is different. It doesn't feel like it streams so much to me. It doesn't feel like a YouTube thing. It's something weird, but it's sometimes that's the thing that does it too. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
And plus, I mean, I'm sure it's nice to get something new. I mean, to get a new feeling in your blood, to get out of your routine and to try something that's unique, and to try to change up your skill set maybe, and do something that's a little bit fresh to get you out of your
I
zone.
went ahead and chose something that was 4 or 5 times harder to do than what I already do on YouTube.
Right.
Seriously, it is. It's no joke. That's one thing I don't worry about. Like somebody that might copy the style. Not that I'm worried about it. People influence people all the time, but they got a lot of work ahead if they want to do it too. It's a lot of work. There's 2 or 3 different kinds of editing that are happening on top of each other to make something like this happen.
Yeah, because I don't want to do that. I've started like I've had some gameplay that I don't want to lose, kind of like what you're saying, because VODs aren't going to do, because no one wants to watch a 4-hour video, and no. I've started capturing some of mine just to dump them into a YouTube channel just so I don't lose them. But yeah, I'm like, I can't expect anyone is ever going to watch a 4-hour video, but I don't have the patience or the time to want to do that. I mean, because yeah, like even just explaining it, like that's an insurmountable task to cut through that much time and make it into a video. So yeah, hats off to doing that.
Yeah, it's you go through one time for 4 hours, another time for 4 hours, then maybe possibly, then you still got to go back and then put the spice in, so yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and then you got to go do a good thumbnail for it too.
Right.
And then you got to,
and that's the hardest part probably, is the thumbnail, right?
all of it is its own animal, and all of it's equally important.
Yeah.
I mean, and more power to those 2 guys helping with this too, and stuff like that. I wouldn't be doing this without their help. Honestly, it would not be happening. There's just no way I could do it. I couldn't even get the content created on stream to do it if that was all I was doing. Yeah. Honestly, like that's all I'd be doing. I'd just stream once, and then maybe after 2 days, okay, I'll stream again, type of thing. So
yeah. So do you have any games that are upcoming that you're excited for, or is there anything you're? I mean, everything's going to get delayed. We know that, but
Space, Dune. Dune is something I'm really excited to see coming up from Funcom. Ashes of Creation. I'm very excited for that. Like I say, there's several games out there on my radar. Space. Is it Space? Now I got brain fart because I had to think about it. I think that's what it is. It's voxel and vector based space, massive world type building.
Okay.
Pretty amazing looking coming. I've got several games I'm looking forward to. So, I was looking forward to Scrap Mechanic Survival, and then the content we didn't get with it was kind of disheartening. And trying to make something out of like sand is kind of hard to do. But
Right.
I'm looking forward to those updates. I would like. I just did Subnautica series. I finally played it all the way through after it was complete for YouTube, and I'm looking forward to Sub-Zero being done.
Yeah.
Or below zero being done before I play it, because I had such a great experience with Subnautica that way that's how I want to experience that. I don't want to do the partials.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that coming out too. But I'd say one of the bigger ones is probably the ones is Dune and Ashes of Creation are probably two I'm really looking forward to. There's several other I'm missing right now because I'm on the spot, and I'll probably think of it when I'm taking a shower tomorrow or something.
Yeah. Are you? Everybody talks about Cyberpunk. Are you excited for Cyberpunk?
Yeah, everybody is.
Are you impartial?
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. They've pushed it back. It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
But like, to me, it's kind of like it feels like the game itself feels like movie star interviews.
Right.
I'm not saying that you are, but the game itself feels like a movie star interviews. Everybody's going to say, you're breathtaking and it's an amazing game and we can't wait to play it. And that's just the general narrative. And if you don't, it's because you don't like this kind of games. But yeah, I'm not impartial, but it's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. Let's see how it looks. It's going to be cool. Can't wait to see Johnny Silverhand in it and how it goes. But we'll see. I mean, I grew up playing the BioWare games too, like the great narratives from those, the original BioWare before they became, EA bought out, So I can liken it to what those used to feel like back in the day.
Yeah.
Type of a thing, or early Obsidian type stuff. So I'm genuinely looking forward to. But yeah, who is it?
If it actually comes out in the next 2 years, I guess.
It was fine. You know what? I've been all about that. If it's not ready, because people are going to complain either way, and you're going to lose more by shoving out something that you don't feel is ready. Now you got to have a little marker saying, okay, if it hits this percentage, it's going out. But beyond that, you get diminishing returns on finishing. But if it's not at that point, don't put it out, because it's going to ruin your brand right off there at the top. People are just going to complain, oh, it's in there. And after about a week, they're like, okay, when's it coming out? I'm ready, So versus putting out a game early and it's bug ridden or some things are incomplete, and then it gets a full bad rap. And the No Man's Sky story doesn't happen in every game that starts off like that.
Right.
So I'd rather have them wait 2 more years if that's what it's going to take to make it where they feel like the vision's complete, because there's more value in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I would rather them not try to rush out. I mean, it seems to be that way with anything, is that you have the excuse of releasing it as early access, and then it Grounded. I mean, which amazingly you found hours of content in Grounded, and I found about 30 minutes, and I'm like, I don't feel like I have a goal.
Well, it depends on how you approach your games, and I give Obsidian credit for it. It feels like a passion project to me, because what I'm used to seeing is very linear paths of progression in the games. Look at Ark. You only have engrams basically, and to expand and your recipes and how to stuff like that. Grounded has 3 different ways of expanding that. They have foundations to make a great game put together. The things that usually end up being crap over a period of time, they've gone out a little bit here and there, and all that they knew is to add in a little bit more things, and they're good. And they're already releasing the first content patch in 5 days, and they've outlined that they're going to keep it out and let us know how it goes. So what I've gotten so far from it, I wouldn't say truly milk it, but like also as a content creator, you go into videos and you have an idea and you want to accomplish the idea within there. And regardless if there's like side things that could happen, you want to make sure that main idea, so you have enough of those ideas, you're going to get more videos out of it too.
Yeah.
But I think I really feels like a project, a passion project from them. The way they respond on social media, their their community manager responds out there. You can tell that they really want it to do well, that they're interested in hearing stuff like that. They're using the early access for what it's for, which is to get feedback, to develop it. Like, here, we got this fleshed out. You got to admit, I mean, it runs pretty good. It looks amazing. And there's all these other things that we're so used to associating to survival games that come out. We get spoiled pretty quickly, thinking, well, Ark is like, well, when Ark came out, it was a piece of crap.
Right.
It ran like pure ass.
Yeah.
Like, this comes out, there's bugs in it, we have some things like that, but the general systems work. And all these other things are there that usually take forever or never get fixed in survival games. And they're kind of there. So I feel like they focus in the right spots, giving us enough taste of what the story is going to be, and also how things are, because we don't even have nearly all the things that are coming to the game.
Yeah.
And it's by Obsidian, who have a great track record, in my opinion, to a degree.
Right.
I've got, so I feel like if you might not have found it, but the type of gamer you are, you might need more leading to do. Like you say, you like to kind of meander anyway, so you want someone to kind of throw you a bone on which direction to go more so.
Right. Yeah. Because I get lost in just in not having it. Like that was my thing with Fallout 76 was I liked it, but then it was like, what do I do? But I can things like Minecraft, like because it's pretty open ended, but you kind of have some goals in Minecraft, but I'm okay with that one, but like I kind of got that way with Ark. I kind of got that way with Conan. Grounded was kind of like I don't really know what else to do. It's like I can make all this stuff, but it's like what's the end, like the means to an end. It's like I'm just doing the means, but I don't really have a reason. And
because that end hasn't fully come in yet either,
right.
too. And that's a very valid reason not to. For that, and that's what you are. I'm sorry to cut you off that. For me, though, it's also like, how are these things implemented and how are they interacting with environments? I want to see these, because this gives you hints on how the game is going to be, not just on like this is the story, but how they're going to make mechanics work in the game. So the reason why I'm building a dew collector or things like that is to see how it works compared to something else. Okay, this feels different. I wonder how this is going to apply to future game mechanics added in the game. What type of foundation is this laying to be somewhat different? You got to, being a survival genre, you're going to have something similar, but there's also little niches of differentness. And like, what are the differentness? Is it tasty? And for me to spend a few extra hours finding those for if I want to devote more time to it, there's value in that for me, is especially, well, not just me as a content creator, but as a gamer. It's like, oh, okay, so I can learn more recipes by, I can scan them in this thing, but then I can also go and do this quest things, and then buy more recipes with this, but then I can do this to get like, and then that works like that. Oh, there's armor set bonuses. So you're gonna have different that's what was happening for me in that game.
Yeah.
It's like, they're incorporating some MMO stuff. They're diverging on the tree of progression some, just for recipes alone. I wonder how that's going to apply for other type of mechanics they introduce.
Yeah. It does. There's definitely a lot. I mean, it seems like there's a whole lot of branching out to learning the different. You have to. What am I trying to say? You have to accomplish things in order to learn new recipes instead of just like you automatically get them. It does kind of force you to explore and try new things in order to learn things, which I think is very cool. Yeah.
Like to get into the spider stuff, you got to you're scared crap, of a freaking orb weaver. You got to go fight one to get some spider parts to be able to see what this is, So good luck, And, which is fine. It's not everybody's thing. And again, your point is valid, but that's why I do it. It's just like, on top of trying to create content for it, it's also like where I've been screaming for the last year and a half is we need a new kind of survival game out there. This isn't necessarily it, but we need one that brings in some things and changes some things. I'm not going to cloud up with all the ideas, but like we need something to come in. I'm hoping Dune might possibly have some of those things, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. Funcom has turned Conan into a pretty damn good game.
Right.
Maybe they're going to take a couple different angles with it. We know it's open world game.
Okay.
So we know that, so we'll find out what it's about. But I've been wanting that. So when a game comes on that might offer something similar to that or somewhat close to it, that's why I'll be doing myself a disservice by claiming on in public, like, I want a new kind of survival game. And if I'm not willing to explore this one fully, what do I really want one?
Right. That's true. I mean, that is a good point. Yeah. Do you want to talk about some other things that are not video game related?
I'm fine. It's your interview, man.
So what else do you do for fun? It sounds like you don't have a lot of time, but
what's fun?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, do you get to go out and enjoy things in the world, or like...
I went outside once in the past 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. How was that?
Yeah, well,
bright,
it was beautiful. Before all this happened, and this okay, I used to like to go hiking. I used to go to the gym and work out. I used to kayak a lot. At one point, I was doing 18 miles jogging through 18 miles of a freaking hiking trail in like 4.5 hours, 5 hours. I mean, I
Jeez.
used to love going out, enjoying fresh air, doing things in nature, doing serious business type stuff. And yeah,
I mean, because from what I've heard, this is the rumor on the street, is that you're basically the most well-built streamer that's on Twitch.
well then, you did hear about the swoll Bane myth then.
I mean, I've heard, yeah, you're
But like,
yeah, you're
I'm pretty
essentially the
big
most
dude.
muscular. You're the most well-built, most worked-out, buffest streamer on Twitch.
Not at the moment, I'll tell you that right now. That's for sure. But I have the genes for it. I can look at weights and I get buff. I mean, I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
Seriously. If I eat halfway right, sleep pretty good, and do decent workout routines, I'm going to get muscle. Now burning fat is a bit of a different thing for me, but like if I build enough muscle, I burn fat anyway.
right.
So the rest of the metabolic rate, will burn it up. But yeah, it's yeah. We leave things up. I like to pick things up and put them down. Type of thing. I mean, I've always been about balance though when I do work out, and just my body responds so much to it. It looks like I go over it, but it's really I try to get a good balance of energy, stamina, and power, and flexibility is
Yeah.
what I go for when I do it. I just had it's I haven't gotten to where I can pull back from anything yet on it where I can afford to actually take care of my health. I don't even have health insurance right now. I haven't been to a dentist in God knows how long. And things like that. So once I get to that, it'll be back to something like that because I enjoy how I feel. It sparks my creativity more. I feel more energetic for stuff like that. But right now, I can't. There is no way.
Was there? Did you have a passion for that? Was there something that sparked your being healthy and working out and taking care of yourself, or was that just kind of a
And nothing tastes as good as it feels to be in shape. Period.
yeah?
Nothing tastes good as it does as you feel when you're in shape. Period. Doesn't mean you can't eat that stuff, but a lot of people that's their excuse. Get to where you feel where you've worked out a little bit, whatever it is you choose. Not necessarily lifting weights, physical activity on a consistent, regular basis with a good night's sleep, with decent caloric intake. Tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong. Like it's seriously like the amount of overall improvement in life as a whole when you feel physically somewhat like capable and or healthy, or it's just it's you, there's nothing else like it. That's your foundation. That's the foundation to everything. That's what allows your brain to like become creative or analytical or whatever. Is when you have it increases that performance to a better level. It's your foundation. It helped me when I was more spiritual with things. So with that type of level, because I was like one with my body, I knew what it was like. I knew how to felt. There was control, power type of things within myself that was not normally there if I wasn't physically active. And there's so much value in that. And then also, if you believe this is the only time you're here on this planet ever, why not take care of the house that carries you around
Right.
the best you can? That's your car, man. Take care
Yeah.
of your car. You gotta get the oil changed, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's my mentality on it.
Yeah. Because I've known that you're an imposing figure, but I was never sure if it was like I didn't know if it was like you've done this since birth, like you
My
came out
dad's
of the
5'6", my mom's 5'8". I'm 6'3". But the mailman was about 6'8". No, I'm kidding. And my mom's side was taller. My dad has like I have my part of my background is pretty much Viking and Picts. I mean that's what I am. I used to rape, pillage people, and drink the blood of my enemies type of
Right.
thing in my blood. So like if I it's just ready to respond to it. So that's where that part came from.
I think my history. I was the person in the library writing about your adventures. That's where my stature comes in. So I was a guy with
Yeah,
a
I mean,
quill.
I was straight up nerd growing up. I'm not saying that's a nerd being like that, but I was straight up like, it was worth it too. It wasn't until later on that I was like, I was like, hey, I should probably take care of my body some, and that was late teens, early 20s, and then started doing. I was like, man, this feels amazing.
Yeah.
And then you build the foundation for it.
So were you into being a fellow nerd? Were you into like comic books, or were you into? I know you said you were into D&D, but like I never got into like comics.
I have an entire bookshelf filled with Dungeons and Dragons books and modules. I have the full Barbie set for guys, nerds, for Dungeons and Dragons. I used to run full campaigns with a spread on 3 tables, sometimes between 8 people, typically 4 to 6 people. I have all the modules ever made for Dragonlance, a good chunk of the ones for Ravenloft, all second edition, 2.5 and 2.0.
Do you know how many erections just happened in chat from you saying all that?
I've got every single Dragonlance novel that came out for the third age, um, too as well. Um, yeah, so
It's funny because like that was the one thing I was because I came from I don't know because I know you're in. Are you kind of you're in like? Do people know what state you're in? I don't want to call that out.
North Carolina.
Yeah, are you in kind of a? I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so I'm in redneck, conservative middle America, and is North Carolina? Are you in an area that's kind of countrified? Or are
Yeah,
you like?
yeah, it's a little bit. Well, I live a place. The good thing about me, I'm not gonna say exactly where I live, but I
Right.
live an hour away from Raleigh, live an hour away from Charlotte, live an hour away from a place called Fayetteville. So I'm close to the city, but I'm not. I'm near a place called Pinehurst, which used to be the Golf Hall of Fame for the United States. Here, the PGA comes through it. I don't live there. I'm not.
Right.
I got my house during the recession. And I got lucky, but it's just yeah. So it's a mixture of things. I've always got along with anybody because I don't really care about. There's a reason why there's certain parts of stereotypes out there, but I rate the individual.
Right.
So I mean, I meet some, and I'm kind of like, I'm probably other than like how I am on stream and in character. I would say it's not character. That's what I was gonna say. It seems like it's character, but that's how I think in my brain all the time. But when I'm in like meeting people directly, I'm usually a little more stoic, and typically that sets off to where I'm at an advantage in a conversation anyway because they don't know.
Yeah.
And so it makes them a little more vulnerable, and then that makes it make it easier for me to read, to actually introduce myself better to them, to actually have a good step foot into it. Does that sound weird?
No, that's
But that's kind of how I do. So like I meet like people in the country. Yeah, it's not so bad. They're good people. They're good people. They a lot of work freaking hard. And you meet some people, although they're just rich, upscale, blah blah blah. Well, those people worked hard to get there too, typically. So
yeah.
it's just Sorry, I just derailed that completely.
No, it made me curious because you hear certain states like if you're like I'm in LA, then I would never think like I mean LA is not that's not a country area, but like I think of like because I dated
I'm an
a
army
girl.
brat. I'm an army
Okay.
brat.
Okay.
I'm an army brat. I was born in Georgia. I've been in Europe. I've been up and down the East Coast and West Coast. I've lived mostly in North Carolina, but I've also lived not in one place to know that the world doesn't revolve around that place.
Right. Yeah, because I dated a girl in Tennessee, and I was like, Tennessee is very much like Oklahoma. It's just country, and it's but I was gonna say like I rounded back to that point was I never played D&D. Like my nerd card is in shaky hands because I never played D&D. And
all this nerd card stuff is all imaginary things made up in which people can flex their EPs in a certain way and make other people feel inferior. If you didn't get to play it, you have other things that are just as valid, man.
yeah, it was just like being in a small town, I'm like no one played D&D. I just never.
That's true. Yeah.
But
we made it happen.
Yeah.
We made it happen.
There's a lot of talk. I see this in chat often, not so much tonight, I think, but it comes up a lot. People are like, somebody, not so much me, but now that you've said it, like people should play D&D. People do this on Twitch, I know.
I've
like,
been trying to set up for it myself, but
Really?
it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to do it. Look up Tailspire. That's a great 3D modeling program that you can build environments on and enact battles out like in a battle map and stuff like that. And then you can take something like World Anvil to create your entire world and like a wiki kind of setup with importing maps and designing hierarchies and NPC development and that. Then you can go into, there's a couple different good map creators out there as well to help complement that if you want to do a true custom world. So all those tools are out there to do it. It just takes a significant amount of time to develop something out of it. If you know Dungeons and Dragons or how it is, you need to have a good basis of your world put together for your people to explore without hardcore rules of things. Just know enough of each area to where if they decide to go do that, you have something fulfilling for the reason to do it and enjoy an open adventure to a degree with some direction. So
yeah,
to develop that, those people that are doing it, if they're running off of modules, that's great. I use the modules to tell me more about the world to run my own stuff.
yeah.
That's why I got them all. It's like, okay, this defines more how Tannis half-elven was. Oh, okay, this is what Sturm was like. Okay, and that kind of stuff like that for the worlds. But like for me, for doing it, I wanted to create a whole other thing and bring people and do a full-on world building and then run adventures with it. So
It's I think there's the crowd is there if if someone if you build it, they will come. If you find that time and you build it, then I feel like you could have that.
That's why I'm doing my second channel. Is like, well, I've already got this content here. That's what I'm building right now. Let's see if they come for that, because world building. Like I was doing world building for a game I was working on for VR for a time, and it's just I'm a realistic OCD perfectionist sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I put the realistic on there because I know the value of diminishing returns. Like with YouTube videos, the returns between an 85% quality mark video to a 95% one is severely minimal compared to the difference between a 70 and 85% quality mark. Once you hit a certain point, you got to know when to cut it off, man, because there's the time investment. There's a thing called time value in life. How much of that time, 1 hour, is valued by putting that much in there, what you return on it, and generally everything. So the same thing. I just lost my train of thought. Right. Same thing with with the world building and stuff like that, or doing anything else. It's like I completely lost my train of thought. Wow, I'm fired. What were we talking about?
About creating a world. If you were to build it, they will come. And there you go. Creating a second channel, and I think we were.
I don't know why. I've been on a rant. I think I'm kind of tired, but I'm good with the conversation. Don't get me wrong. Like with world building, Sue is getting a certain amount of that.
Yeah. It's funny. I've seen it come up a lot. Is that I think there are a lot of people that play D&D, and a lot of people have. I do see it mentioned a lot. It's like, oh, you guys should do a campaign. Like, you guys, as in like this large concentric circle, like the Venn diagram of people that we know. Like it kind of gets mentioned, and that it's like, oh, you guys, all of you people should do this, and then it's like that's like hurting with a D. It's like herding cats. That when you try to get two people together to do things, it can be a very difficult process.
Well, also depending on who you do, you have to have a value proposition to go towards them. And like, yeah, we should all play D&D together. That ain't enough for a lot of people. Yeah. You need to get to that point, to have a value proposition to give. Even if they're people your friends, you still need to offer value for what you're offering, and have some sort of thing there. You don't go to a publishing company with just ideas and a couple drawings you drew on a napkin for something. So to do a campaign like that, you need to at least have something formed together with a general idea, with a focus into one direction or other, to give some sort of vision for other people to want to come in on it too. I mean, it's how I would do even with just like regular D&D. Is like, yeah, I've got this, and this, and this ready to go. You want to try it? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's say we'll wrap up about 10 minutes. We'll give you got about 10 more minutes in you?
I've got like, I've been going to bed at like 7 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
I'm not kidding. And I've been getting up at sometimes 10 or 12.
So it sounds like I was going to talk about entertainment, but I don't know if you have time. It doesn't sound like. Do you watch a lot of TV or movies or?
No, I TV, unless it's documentaries. I don't really watch much TV. I don't care for sitcoms personally. I think I'd rather much have interactive entertainment than have visual on that type of level. Movie wise, I have a few that I enjoy. I haven't been to a movie theater since I was pissed off from the second Hobbit. I was so pissed off.
Right.
I never went back. I've watched some of the Marvel stuff here and there, but like some of the original stuff that I watched Dune. Frank Herbert's I prefer over the original. Sorry guys, there's just the way they kept the consistency with the books was so much better. Lord of the Rings was amazing. The Hobbit can kiss my ass. I used to watch 13th Warrior. There's a couple things here and there, but when I would watch TV before, it'd be some cooking shows sometimes, and then documentaries. Typically, I love if I could talk like that, theoretical physics, cosmology, and stuff like that. That type of stuff. I actually did very good in math, and that would have been I would have gone computer science or gone into physics if my family life wasn't so screwed up.
Right.
That would have been one of the two things.
So name dropping. I don't know anything about this person. I know of Michio Kaku is a theoretical physicist, I think, right?
He kind of is more like a cosmologist.
Is he a cosmologist? Yeah. That's the only name I know. It's the only one I know.
He's very likable.
Yeah. He's very likable. He seems very huggable. He seems like a huggable kind of guy. Like you'd see him, you'd be like, I just want to hug.
Until you get close to him, and then you find out he actually developed a death rage, melts you right.
So what about the theoretical? Like, what are you into as far as like theoretical physics? Are you into? I don't know anything about that enough to really ask a directed question.
It's a, yeah, it's just like in general the entire approach of that of trying to find like I didn't like I talk about nerding out like I used to keep trigonometry, calculus, and I still have them actually algebraic textbooks, and I would do the problems of them for fun. That
Right.
was just honestly I would. So it depended. I didn't really get to go far enough in any type of studies to actually develop any type of focus within that field. I like the idea across the board of how it would work, general physics or into theoretical physics, depending on what would be offered and what kind of school I could have gotten into would have really helped divine into that. But general science is great, and but in getting to theoretical stuff, you get into the subatomic levels, and
This is like,
that's a
is this
whole
like
can of worms.
is the Large Hadron Collider kind of stuff? Is this theoretical physics or
Well,
is
that's
this?
one small aspect of things on that. You're getting quantum physics and down to the actual things that make up the particles that we know of, and they're actually finding things smaller than the Higgs boson now, and
Mm,
they're theorizing for that and whatnot, and then the multiverse, true multiverse theories, that kind of things. But like with some things, is like actually taking proven laws given in there, and then taking things we don't know, and then trying to backwards engineer to a degree of like this is how it happens. Here's the formula for it. Here's the reason why type of mentality on that is interesting. Also, just general knowledge of the universe and overall of learning about like the interesting of where the biology and the actual astronomy kind of cross over, like the chance of life, how life. We as humans only see this very stringent way life could possibly form in this specific way. It'd be interesting to see if they find out it actually can develop in different ways and be one of the people that find that out type of thing, not for like notoriety type of thing, but just for the fact of learning new things. That was the biggest drive for that, I guess, was learning new things and using your brain. And I just enjoyed doing like math.
right. So this is slightly, I guess, kind of slightly off that rail. Are you a believer in extraterrestrial life or the possibility of extraterrestrial life?
I think believer is really we have no foundation for either way. I think to close one off or is not the way to be. I think there's different ways of looking at the percentile chances of each stage of life that we are. And depending on when you call it extraterrestrial life, then you're referring to intelligent life, and beyond that, you're talking about an advanced species of some sort that would have developed into the technological side of things. Beyond that, if that's what you're talking about. So like the percentile chances of getting past each stage of life is so low. I wouldn't be surprised if there is. I think it'd be stupid not to, but they might not be existing at this current time anymore in the universe. They might have, or they
Yeah.
might will after we're beyond wiped out after a few million years. There's a good chance it might happen somewhere else. The chances of life actually developing in even this far of a stage is so low as it is. You've got so many steps that they have to. It has first off, you got to have the perfect planet and the perfect amount of space away from the sun with the perfect kind of composition of chemicals in the atmosphere to create the amino compounds that you need to actually give the basis of life to develop single cell organisms that also need to have a percentile chance of things running throughout the evolution of time to get them a multi-cell. You got this whole process that has to happen
Right.
before you get to any sort of intelligent life. So yeah, I got an open mind for it.
Yeah, because I find people always fall into one camp of either you do it's I'm kind of with you. I'm more into kooky ideas. Or not that you are. I'm into kooky ideas. I would to me it makes more sense to just be like it's possible, but I know there are a lot of people that are just flat out, it's black and white, it's yes or no. There's a no.
It's not
It's
how much stuff in life is really black and white.
yeah. I mean,
Truly, I mean, even laws in science are constantly being broken. Like this wasn't true. This works better. I mean, I say constantly, but it happens every now and again. That's like constantly is a bad word to use there. But so I think to have a full polarized view on that, I can see why people have that and it's valid in their own eyes. But yeah, and what is it? It was like 13 trillion million. Is it 13 trillion billion stars? Is it 13 trillion billion in the universe now, or
it's more than
13 trillion
two.
trillion?
It's more than 2 stars, I think, at least.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. But still, when you take in the odds of like when you say ET, you have to define that first. If you think there's other life possible, yeah, definitely. I think there's some form of life It might be single cell organisms that exist in like a full ammonia sea underneath a frozen sheet of ice on a secondary moon in a planetary system far, far away.
Right.
The intelligent life, it's like, yeah, it's possible, but there's a good chance they aren't there.
Yeah.
There isn't, I don't think, but they might be. They might be, and I'd love to be proven wrong. Except that they pull up these huge flying saucers with freaking laser beams that like zap us down. Like, well, we screwed up sending out that golden disc on the side of those freaking probes. Tell them, here's a map. You come kill us. You know, that's
yeah. It's. I think a lot of people have said that that's a dangerous thing that we're doing. That we are basically inviting anything else to come here.
Well, we're trusting something we have no scope or idea of how anything works. There might be this huge interplanetary galactic war happening that we're in a dark sector that there's like, oh, there's nothing there worth getting. Or they, oh yeah, we mined that planet out a million years ago. There's no reason to go back there. Yeah. And then we sent out 2 freaking probes and like, oh, okay. You know, we don't know. Or it might be some of the most benevolent beings ever exist that will grace upon us their advanced way of thinking and bring us into a new golden age. You never know. But like to trust a random odds, if you notice in life, when you trust random odds, you usually get screwed.
Right. I mean, it's usually a bad situation to try to, even just to our own human beings, to think they're generally good. Not so much. I mean, even tonight, some idiot cut me off in McDonald's. Like that. Even just that, I'm like, you can't wait to, like, it's my turn. I went through the drive-thru. I pull forward. Not you. Just that.
Well, I'm saying
alone.
Like, at least with all that stuff, except for a few world leaders, you're not trusting the general existence of an entire species into something's hands of randomness. Like, that's like they literally put a roadmap on the side of both of the satellites with a picture of us on there, showing what we look like with the roadmap on how to get to us. So I was like, you know, hey, like, here's my credit card information, my email, and all my logins. I'm just going to put it out here on this website. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you never know. Yeah, weird mixtape because it had a mixture of all kinds of music on the disc too. Well, both discs. The most expensive discs ever made too, by the way.
Is it the most expensive ones? The gold disc?
I forget how much it cost. The gold disc, yeah. It was something crazy number.
Is there a reason? I don't know this much about this. Was there a reason that they chose gold?
Yeah, it is actually like how it reacts to. It's like the way it works in the vacuum space. It has a longer I forget what the exact specifics of the mixture of metals are in it, but the way it works, you're dealing with radiation. There's a plasma circle around our entire solar system anyway, of a light plasma cloud, or a bubble, if you will, to a degree, from outer stellar, what is the word? I can't think of it right now. It's too late. But anyway, it will last longer. Let's just say that it will last longer.
Right. Interesting.
It'll last longer with all those, unless it takes a direct hit, from the stellar junk or something.
Yeah, because it could be gone by now, right? I guess like it could have been destroyed at this point, and we wouldn't. I don't think we would know.
Well, we know. We just recently got the last touch out of one of them. Just recently, I think the end of last year. It was like, seriously, we actually were able to. It's just now so far away that the chance of a signal with how the power is running on them, they're works of art, man. They're works of art.
Or was this? Is it Voyager, the one that just went past Pluto? Is that the one? Is that the same thing? Or is
got
this a different
couple of them. No. Well, you had Cassini for Saturn. Why can't I think of the Pluto one that's going out to the Kepler belt now? It's shaped like a piano. I can't even think of it. Now you're making me look up. Oh my God!
Because I remember
New Horizons.
Okay.
New Horizons. That was New Horizons.
Yeah, because one of them is like it's the furthest anything has ever been, I guess, from Earth or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that is different. Is it the Voyager satellites? Isn't that right? The Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Those are the two, and they are the ones with the golden plates, and they're the ones that went the furthest out so far. They actually are legitimately outside of our solar system, I believe, and heading into the outer asteroid further beyond where the planets were pulled in from.
Yeah.
New Horizons is heading out there. They've got 2 targets on the way out. One looks like a weird potato barbell looking shape they're going after.
It's kind of creepy to think of how far out
that's what
that
it is.
really
Shockwave.
is.
Thank you, Steam.
Shockwave. Just left this. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's scary. That's one of those that it hits your brain when you can't comprehend just how far away that is.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
I mean,
that's nothing. That's nothing.
yeah,
You know how like when you were a kid, you thought like, hey, going to like McDonald's was like a decently long ride, and then when you
right,
finally went to Grandma's 5 hours later, you're like, holy crap,
right.
that's all that is. Shoot the nearest star. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah,
Good luck. You know, wait until we have Andromeda run into the Milky Way. That's going to be an interesting sight to see. I'll tell you that. They're heading like we got a collision course coming. We won't be around for it, but it'll be interesting to see that what happens.
yeah.
Talk about like weird things that blow your mind.
Right.
I'm not trying to bore the audience with this too, so we can if you,
Hey, I think last night or the night before, I was talking about the amount of human feces that are on the moon because nobody talks about that. That nobody brings that up. That there's bags of it, just bags and bags of it left on the moon, and that was one of the missions. Whenever they go back to the moon, is they want to investigate these bags of crap that they left.
how the poop, yeah,
to see
how
if
they
there's
were affected
bacteria
by.
and such. And somebody mentioned, I forgot what they said, something that Mars is the only planet that's inhabited by 2 robots or something like that. Because it's we've put more junk on other planets, and
We have 4 there now.
is it 4?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
initial
because we
one,
had the
the
2
2,
small
and then we
ones.
just got the 4th one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the initial one, yeah, we have 4.
the amount of junk that we've left on these other places, like I feel like that's kind of rude of us. Like we're just we're just dropping.
Well, I mean, it's within our realm, depending, you know how it is when you play any type of games or anything, that once you kind of get a little bit more technologically advanced, your realm of influence expands and we're learning. So, I mean, as long as we eventually go clean it up one day.
Right.
One
Someday
day.
we're gonna go clean up our trash. Yeah, it's one of those things that I guess you don't really think about. It's like they go to the bathroom in a bag,
Oh, yeah.
and then it's like they didn't bring it back with them, so they left it. Like it's on the moon. They just left bags
Okay.
of crap on the moon. So
Did you verify this?
they, well, I mean, I think they did.
No, really. Did you verify? Because they usually, this is NASA. They've paid like much money, and they might have recycled it. You know how much stuff they recycle?
They recycled it into food, maybe, and they didn't realize.
Or who knows? They compact it down, the dry and freeze dry it, and have it when they bring it back, and like sell space poop over at the national museums. It's like you can get some of Buzz Aldrin's space poop, 1 gram of it for $100.
So I like the idea, the sci-fi idea of we left all this on the moon, and we are the ones that created life on the moon. That's the sci-fi idea that I like, is that from our waste we have now created some new bacterial species on the moon. I don't know. That's probably not going to happen, but
There's not really much of a chance of that happening. The radiation from the sun will just toast it up.
that's what they tell you, J0hn Bane. That's what they tell you.
Well, why don't you go out there and look at it and let me know how it goes.
That's what they say.
I'm not trying to ruin your party, man. If that's what you think, man, you're more
Oh,
than
now you're
welcome.
going to tell me
If
it's not flat? Is that?
If this is what you thrive in, I'm not the one to here to pick out the pin and then just go at it. By the way, Australia is real. It's actually a call center in Ohio.
Australia.
So you think you're talking to somebody in Australia? It's actually a call center in Ohio because the world's so flat. There's no way that could be there.
It can't be, because it'd fall off if they're on the bottom. It makes sense. One of my favorite ideas, speaking of weird, kooky geographical things, which again, I'm open to any idea. If anybody presents with for the most part, I will say I do have my limit of hit about 98%. I'm like, I'll believe you. But then there's that 2% where you're like, that's a little much. But one of my favorite things that I've seen was talking about the Mars rovers, that there's a place in Canada that NASA actually uses to test equipment, and that I forget the name of it, but it looks very Martian. That there is a whole idea that we are not actually, like, we don't have robots on Mars, that they are just in Canada.
In the world of information that we have now, where everybody sees everything everywhere and posts something that even looks like a hint of something possibly being, I truly believe that if this was the case, we would have already had subreddits about this, and we would already had more than just like a couple like Bigfoot pictures of it happening.
Right.
it would be a major scale thing. Maybe, you know, at some sort of level with a higher amount of information involved in it happening, because people can't keep their mouth shut nowadays
Yeah.
at all. Even there's a degree of level security within each of the nations that, no, it doesn't pass that point. I don't know if something like that, how well, especially if people are aware of that type of location. They might have another location possibly, but if it was something like that and we know somewhat about it, there's no way in hell it's happening there, or we would know about it. You know, in my
Right.
opinion. If it maybe even 15 years ago, yeah, there's a chance, but no. I had to say that probably I don't think so.
I don't think so, Tim.
They could have at least been a Kerbal space program type game and use that at least to fullest, but I don't think they're doing that up there. If they did, again, we'd have eyes somewhere with it somewhere. Somebody would have gotten shot about it, and then more stuff would have grown, or you know what I mean?
Right.
I believe that anyway.
Yeah.
There's still that. I don't believe in that 100%. There's still that 99. There's 99.999%. There's still that 0.001% I'll give you. There's a chance of that, and if they're really good at covering something up like that, then I deserve to think that it's real.
All right, so I have a last question for you, and then we can cut this because I know you're probably exhausted from streaming, and I've had a long day.
Okay, so you're ready. You're ready to quit.
I'm not ready to quit.
It's fine. It's fine. I know what's happening here.
This is
Tom Brady's a nice guy. By the interview, God damn, dude, can you leave?
This is
I understand.
This was a warm up interview. This way I get you hooked
that's
in.
That's what I'm just the warm up for who? Who am I warming
you're
you
the warm up for you. You're the warm up. I get you coaxed in. We see that's the other thing too. Chat. I'm looking at chat. I pretend chat is that way. No, like we've never had a real conversation. Like we've never really spoken, and you know, because people have said, maybe, I don't know. I imagine that people have said that, hey, that was like, that's really cool. You guys have a really good rapport. Like you guys, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Like we don't really know each other. Like we've never really spoken.
No, we don't. No.
So that was back at the beginning when I said the world just needs to have a chat every now and again. You know, that's what I meant, is like just bringing people together and just like having a little conversation, because you can talk to people in the world, and that's what I like to do. But what I was going to ask is like, do you have, because and if you don't want to talk about it, if you don't want to bring it up, everybody kind of has something they like to vent about that they don't really get to vent about in their own space. So do you have anything as far as like, generally with content creation, like do you have a thing that you're like,
what? Generally with what?
Like speaking to a content creator, generally it's something
in content creation. I'm
no,
like,
in
what are we concentrating?
In content creation, that generally somebody has something, you know, like maybe not a trigger, but like one of those things where you're like, man, I really wish people wouldn't ask me about this, or like, I wish you wouldn't talk about that, or like, do you have a thing that people bring up that you would just, you know, in a nice.
I sound exactly like Slipgator.
in a nice way. Is there one of those where
I'm
you're
not kidding? I mean, that's probably the biggest thing I get, especially on YouTube. I sound exactly like him. When I went and visited him in Florida, and he's a great guy, and he and his lady are a very hospitable, very awesome people. I wouldn't say anything better about them, but I was like, you know how much I get that? He's like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, it is. Like, no, you don't. I'm like, I know. And he's like, oh, so. But no, I'm not, honestly. I mean, I do get that, but it doesn't. I brush it off. You brush off anything. There's nothing to vent about. It's part of the job. It's what you do. Stuff's going to happen. People are going to try to get in your skin. There might be other things. People might innocently ask a question that they generally want to know that you're not comfortable with. You just let them know. I don't really have much to complain about. I feel lucky to be even do what I'm doing, and I'm appreciative of it. And last thing I need to do is be complaining.
Yeah, I didn't want to try to trick you and be like say something bad about everybody.
No, you're not. I'm just thinking, you know, probably the biggest thing I would have to say, I'm trying to give you some sort of something that would be honest, is that I posted a tweet about this, is that game devs or any type publishers or any other people that you're trying to work with about anything, there's so many false people out there that the people like that you've worked really hard, they don't know what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're trying to do. And all they can do is assume on past experiences that it's unfortunate that it's so saturated that I'm working my butt off. I work my ass off. And it's unfortunate that I get lumped with the guy that down the road who just steals content from somebody else and reposts, type of thing, to
Right.
be taken seriously. Like, I'm fighting for it. I had to fight for that scrap mechanic key before everybody else. I had to fight to get this and that, and it would be nice to be taken a little more seriously on all fronts on it. But it's not really a complaint. It's just I got to keep grinding and improve to those people that I have value to them. So
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah, I guess that's.
I think I remember that tweet. I think.
You do. There you go.
I
Yeah,
think I
it's tough. It's tough.
Well,
Like
because
that.
when I see things, when I try to, I don't see everything on Twitter because I'm one of, like I still have to do the dumb day job. Like, so I have 8 hours of my day that are taken up by not being able to be on social media and but I try to catch things. I think especially when somebody posts something, when I see things that I can tell are honest and heartfelt, that it's like, this is not, it's something that is worth acknowledging that somebody says, I guess. And so I think I do remember seeing something about that idea.
Well, for me, with social media too, I don't do Facebook at all. I mean, I do its evil sister, Instagram. But one thing when I try to do on social media with Twitter, I try to make it on my professional brand representative of stuff, and I feel there's like enough negative stuff. I'm not even going to get into like ideological type of things because I whatever. There's enough negative stuff on there. I try not to do even stuff when stuff affects me personally and I want to share it with the world. I don't do that because at least if anything, people see it. You get enough negative influence across the board. I try to at least be neutral or positive to a degree, honest, neutral, honest, positive. Yeah. But every now and again, something does slip through, and that was one of the things. Because sometimes it's hard. But I'm not. Again, it's very vague to the people in the audience. They probably, what the hell is he talking about? But. I honestly, if you just if I step back from this and look at it and something to complain about, I really can't. The stuff that I would is just part of the job, and it's what you got to do and deal with. And that's another suggestion for the earlier question.
Right.
If you want to get in content creation, you need to get to learn how to manage criticism and how to divide types of criticism and learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's developing a very thick skin.
And know when to turn it on and when to off, and know how to take good criticism. That's one thing I had to learn, and is how to not. A lot of people, they get any kind of criticism, they shut it off and devalue it.
Yeah,
I have to ingest it to a certain percentage and then put it on my scale. It's like, there's a little value in here. Let me read into this more, or this is just somebody trying to troll or be something like that. Just pass it on.
Yeah,
but yeah, you gotta learn that. That's part of the fun.
Do you? One other thing, because you made me think about this. Do you have a pretty solid separation from J0hn Bane on computer and J0hn Bane not on computer, like real life versus media life?
I still feel like my brain, it's about the same person, but people don't like in real. I say real life, but like normally, I end up being. I'm very, very much more quiet. Yeah. Stoic to a degree. I've been called almost like asshole like level of it to a degree, just because I keep it to myself to generally. But the stuff in the brain and how I act, the mentality of it, and my humor is what I am. I can't act that good.
Right. So you're not extremely hyperbolic. You are generally like, you're pretty much what you're gonna get in real life.
Oh no, in real life, like
aside from the stoicness and the standout or
that's not what you get from me. Like I'm a big dude. Yeah. Who doesn't say much, and I have resting bitch face.
Right.
So like that already sets up for something that doesn't look like what you might see online.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'm a dynamic kind of person too. I sometimes introvert, sometimes an extrovert, sometimes whatever. A lot of it depends on different factors of sleep, just general energy levels and things like that affect that. Also, what's currently stimulating me mentally? Is it something creative? Is it something more intellectual? And it affects my personality to a degree. Not that I'm like a bipolar or anything like that, but just how I would initially meet people. So J0hn Bane online, I try to keep him as consistent as possible because that's what people expect, and it's the least I could do,
Okay.
And then the guy during the day.
Yeah.
Who else? Who knows?
I forgot one of the most important questions. Where did you come up with the name J0hn Bane? Is there a history behind?
It's my music. I'll tell you. I was playing in bands, lead singer, lead guitarist for a band. I go home from a show, minding my own business. All of a sudden, it's about, I'm still awake, 1 a.m, get a knock on my door and open up, and it's somebody that was on my show. It's like she's like, "Hi." I'm like, "Hey." And this is the advent early on when the internet was starting to become more popular on phones and stuff like that. I was like, "Okay, can I help you?" "Yeah, I found out where you live." I'm like, "Yeah, you did. You sure did." And then after that, I kind of figured out that I need to go ahead and, my middle initial starts with a B, and there's more to it than there's like other things that I don't want to. That's personal on that,
Right,
but
right.
that was been attached to music since that point in time and has been in my identity. I've had JohnBane.com since 2001.
Nice. Okay. So that's just one of those things that just kind of stuck with you, and you've just so that's kind of where like my name is completely made up. That I made it up for a thing that I did in high school for a story.
I used to be big and buff dude, and and just the Bane thing kind of flowed off of John, and my initials B. That's why I tell people it's just my name. That has been my name for 20 years.
Yeah.
For anything, you can look and see history under that name to a degree online. But that's me, and I had that before. There's the other John Bane with the BAIN, which I didn't, Total Biscuit, and stuff like that. It's not the same person. I've had J0hn Bane as my name, like I said, since 2001 or so. So it's been a long time. And that was before any of that became relevant. There wasn't even really YouTube then anyway. So.
Right.
Yeah, his name really isn't Flitz. You heard it here first, Daco. You heard it here first.
Yes, it's not Flitzanu. It's not my real name. It's not my real name at all. I like having for me, it kind of started as like that was a separation of like of the two lives. It's kind of why I'm always curious about that life, because like I try to keep my real life very separate from my online life.
Oh, if you talk about that, I generally do, except for Instagram. Like when I do cooking or when I do outside type stuff, I share it. But generally I do keep it kind of separated because you need that, especially when you get up from work.
Yeah.
And when you leave work, you're walking into your hallway. You need something that helps you step away when you do finally step away, to help with that. So there's some separation there that, that's my little quiet spot of stuff to time to time. But
yeah,
like I said, it's dynamic.
Now, do people call you John Bane in real life, or do they?
I have a lot of people call me JB, John Bane. Yeah, there's several people that call me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some people that do.
Yeah,
but it's not regular. Most people just call my name's John. I mean, that's all. It's John. It's always been John. It's always been John.
Yeah, so that makes it easy to remember. That way.
Yeah, I can't mess it up too bad. It's like, hey John, I'll look. It's like, okay, good. It worked at PAX, so that worked for me.
Well, very cool. Well, hey, I guess we can wrap it up, man. It's been a blast to get to hang out with you and getting to know John Bane. Do we have any questions in chat? I've kind of been keeping an eyeball, but
somebody asked earlier, but they're probably gone. Yeah, that's really my part of my room. I've got it sound treated, and the blue and the black is just for looks. The bass traps in the corners are what are important, but I actually have it sound treated. I have mineral board up on it and have bass traps in the front and side so it doesn't echo.
Nice. Now you've got like a U-shaped desk, don't you? Didn't you? I think you posted a picture of that, right? Like that's a super cool desk.
Instagram, there's a video. It's a video. I have some Gojira playing in the background with it.
Yeah, it's like a command center, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. My thing with consecration is whatever I can do to eliminate another step in getting something done, do it. So I have it battle ready prepped as much as I can to where minimal amount of things have to be done to do any sort of task on these two PCs.
Yeah.
So that helped. That helped make that come around. I got it from a friend though.
Do you have what is what is your favorite thing about being a content creator? The women, the ladies that throw themselves at you.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Hi, my name's John Bane. I get all the lane. Honestly, it was in meeting the variety of people with the same amount of fire and passion, along with meeting so many good people. This is not self-serving, but to me, like community-wise, like people in my community and other communities, so meeting and seeing how many good people there actually are really still out there.
Right. It's refreshing, to say the least, that there are decent people that are still around.
Yeah.
And do you have one game that you've played that you think everybody should experience that maybe
Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Dragon Quest Builders 2? Is that
Or
an
yeah.
wasn't that
It's on PC.
is that an older game?
It's on Steam. It recently released on Steam end of last year. One of the best. It's a great storyline because it is somewhat you can relate to it to a degree. It has no true ideologies attached to it of any type of the modern day crap going on in any type of direction whatsoever. It's just a damn good story with some great game mechanics. If you get a chance to play, it's the second one. It's on Steam. That'll be the one I tell you to play.
Steffi wants to know what about car? You have a dream car? You have like a car that would define you as if you're like, I want this car.
I'd love to have a Tesla, honestly, just because it makes sense. I used to want a Raptor, like the Ford Raptors, like off-road, Raptor. I'm too big. It sucks. I found out early on that I'm too big to fit in like Lotus or any of the sports cars.
Right.
So like I'm screwed. I'm screwed on that end. I really can't go in there. So I mean, I'd fit in an event. I guess I could have a car.
I have a friend that's like 6'6", and I had an Acura Integra, and he was like, I can't even Scooby-Doo my way into this car. Like, he would have to like poke a hole through the top just to sit in the car. And
just melt you down and pour you in.
Yeah. I have a friend named Hannibal who is every bit as big as his name probably implies, that he is a monstrous man. And same thing, he saw my Acura and he's like, how do you think I'm going to get into this car? So I can't relate, but I can understand. Somebody said something really sweet. Oh, Raven Bloodbane says that to tell you that he loves you and all of chat and everybody else, and that everybody deserves love.
Okay.
And Antior was asking, since you descend from Vikings like he does, do you have a lot of Viking era weaponry? Do you collect anything?
I have a wide variety. I have a wider variety of weaponry. I used to do Renaissance festivals in full garb too. I made a full black wizard costume. I used to wear a lot too, with full fur cowl, black feathers, shoulder setups, the whole 9 yards, and then other type of things too. So yeah, I've got a assortment. I stopped though because it's just more stuff.
Right.
And as you get older, you realize. As you get older, you just realize it's just stuff.
Yeah.
It's just stuff. I don't need more stuff.
Yeah.
But I do have a decent amount of armaments in general.
I'm hitting that point where I'm like, I need to start minimalizing because I keep everything. If
anyone wants to buy any live music equipment, let me know. I've got a full PA system and monitor system. I'm willing to let go. I'm still going to keep my personal rig and my guitars and stuff, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Just sign it and sell it on eBay. You can get rid of that. J0hn Bane signed it.
Yeah. No one knows who the hell I am. I mean, you guys, a lot of people, some people do, but like, I don't live in this false bubble of greatness. I live in a true bubble of gratefulness. That's not where I live.
Raven also wants to know if you could be any mythical creature, what would it be and why?
What about dragons?
Who says those are mythical? What if they're real?
Have you found one yet?
Not yet.
All right, then. It's still mythical. I'm not saying you can't prove it, but it's still there. It's there. I mean, it depends on the dragons. Like there's such a wide variety of it. I would go with straight up Dungeons and Dragons type style, where you had the different ages, and you get into a gold or silver would be amazing, because they could also polymorph oftentimes in elf or humanoid type forms. If I had to go with chromatic, I would probably go with maybe a blue dragon. Lightning or a red dragon, again, that type of side. And then you get into the neutral ones, an amethyst one would be what I'd be.
I would be a liger because they're bred for their magical abilities.
Yeah, you should read up on dragons. True.
I've never thought about what kind of myth. I mean, I do like dragons are good, but I can't say dragon now because your answer is much more in depth for me to be like dragons because they can fly and they're tough and they're bad.
Well, do you know the difference between a dragon, a drake, and a wyvern?
Dragons have 4 legs. Is that part of it?
Yes. Yep.
I think that's I feel like one of them generally has 2 legs. Is that
Yeah, your wyverns typically have your front appendages attached to your wings. That's what wyverns are, and they have hind legs typically, is what a wyvern. And then drakes are usually associated with wingless type dragons that are shaped similar to the four appendage dragons. That's what a true dragon is, with a four appendages and a separate set of wings. That's what a real dragon is. The hypocrisy, the atrocity of the Hobbit Smog. Actually, if you watch the first Hobbit, when you see the kind of side scroll of Smog when he breaks through the dwarves' gates, you notice he has four appendages and wings. But then later on, his front arms also became part of his wings for the movies. It's such BS. And so he's now a wyvern.
I didn't realize that. See, I still really liked, and I'm guessing you probably do too. The old original Tolkien, or the not Tolkien.
The cartoon.
What is it? Baskin? What is his? What is the? Yeah, the people that made the cartoon. I can't remember the freaking.
Yeah, I have the hard book. I have the hardback, fully hardback version they made for that movie. The book, The Hobbit of it. It has the full spreads of concepts, art, and everything from that movie put into it. In a book that's about 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet by 1 foot with a hardback and everything. It's amazing.
Nice.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Today and forever are yet to begin. Yeah, I know.
There was that one because it was. Oh God, what was the old guy's name? The old man that did the voice of Smeagol. Gollum. The guy. God, what is that guy's name? The old man, the old actor that did his name or did his voice. That he was also in the original Clash of the Titans. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Andy Serkis. That's not how you spell it, but no.
So that's the new guy, the old cartoon.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. That was amazing, though. Gollum.
Yeah.
You know. And he was tasty morsel, my precious, like that deeper voice in it.
Yeah, and he was the dude in everybody's saying, yeah, not Andy Serkis. There was an old the guy's dead. He was in the original Clash of the Titans. He was the guy that Perseus met that like helped him out, like the poet. But I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, like that was a pivotal childhood thing, like watching that cartoon over and over. That and like Flight of Dragons was another great one.
I have that on VHS and in mint condition.
Nice. I've seen recopies. I don't think they made it on DVD.
Dragons.
I think I've seen some person, I guess, is like reprinting it on DVD, I think. But
I have the original VHS of it in mint.
It's
funny. Old boy from MASH is doing the voice of the wizard. It was so bad.
That's right. That's right.
It was so bad. Yeah.
Burgess Meredith.
And then you actually have what's his face? Darth Vader. I can't. Brain fart. Who did Darth Vader's
James
voice?
Earl Jones.
Brain fart. Yeah, did actually Oldham, or what the bad guy's name in that movie in Flight of Dragons.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's so bad. It's such a bad but a wonderful movie. So bad.
That was classic.
It's like the second Conan. The Destroyer. That's so. Mufasa. That was such a horribly good movie. It was so horrible. It was good.
James Earl Jones.
I miss Stupid Guy though.
But he did a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of people don't realize how much. People know Darth Vader is James Earl Jones, and it's like, no, James Earl Jones. Like, he was in The Exorcist 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a guy, like as a witch doctor in The Exorcist.
I know him
2.
as Thulsa Doom, to be honest. That's where I associate him with the Thulsa Doom.
And that was from Conan.
Mm-hmm. The Barbarian. Yeah,
I haven't watched that in a long time.
It's such a great movie.
It's one of the that's one of those growing up 80s movies that I've seen it so many times, but I haven't watched it recently that I want to go back and watch it again. But yeah, Burgess Meredith.
Dragon Slayer was another horrible movie.
James Earl Jones had a hilarious career. It's true, yeah. Yeah, Burgess Meredith. That was the old man that we were trying to think of. Burgess Meredith. I don't even like. He was 100, I'm sure, back when he did that movie. I don't even know that guy. But yeah, now it's got me thinking about all those crazy old cartoons like the Hobbit and Flight of Dragons.
Well, I mean, even the Lord of the Rings where they did the paint over live action. That was so wonderfully horrible. I loved it. I watched that one religiously along with The Hobbit. The Return of the King, done by the same company that did The Hobbit, was not that good. Out of those three, I prefer the cheesiness of the second one of the Lord of the Rings. With that, you know what I'm talking about? Them when they painted over live action.
Because I never really got into it. Because
horns are like,
right,
like every single time there's a horn, that was the horn sound the whole time.
Yeah, it was like because I remember I never really got into it as a kid because I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, why isn't this a cartoon? What is like it didn't register. Like whenever I was watching it as a kid, it never registered that I just couldn't follow it. I was like, this isn't a cartoon. I don't like this. It's not a cartoon.
It's one of the, I put that in the classification. It was so horrible. It was good, but it was good still. There was some meat in there every now and again. If you worked on that chicken bone, you're going to find a little bit of meat on it. You know what I mean? Type of thing. So
good stuff. All right. Was anybody, I think everybody is, do we get all the questions? This is obviously the last, no, it's not the last chance. We're going to do this again, right, John? Are you going to come back and hang out again, J0hn Bane?
I mean, you're going to pay me the same again?
Yes. Maybe a little bit more.
Okay, then we're good.
Maybe.
Oh, I get 2 Cheetos?
We'll negotiate. We'll negotiate with your contractor.
Oh yeah. I'm a. I'll tell you one thing. We're a content creator. I think Slip does it too. It's like whenever anybody who doesn't have any idea what the internet asks you what you do as a content creator, you don't tell them what you are. You tell them you're a subcontractor for Google and Amazon, and they leave you alone.
That's probably a smart idea. I was watching. I don't know how you I don't know how you feel about PewDiePie, because I know sometimes PewDiePie is a dangerous person to bring up.
Well, why is he dangerous? He's got over 100 million subscribers. He's paved the way for other people to do things. He's taken risks and done some stupid things like all of us do. We all do stupid things, and guess what? Just because he's in the highlight doesn't mean people can't learn. So yeah. I don't have a problem with him.
Yeah, he was. I just totally lost my train of thought now too. He was
Bam!
watching.
It worked.
He was watching his. Oh yeah, it was about like what do you do? I watched a video of him today, and he was talking about, or he was reacting to his old television appearies, when he was doing talk shows and stuff, and he was talking basically that exact same thing. When people are like, "So what do you do?" And he's like, "Well, I play video games and I comment over the video, I make commentary on top of the game, blah blah." So they're like, "Oh, so you play video games all day and you tell jokes." And he was just talking about how it's like you can't explain that, like people don't get that there's so many more layers to that.
Yeah, well, you just think of it like how much you enjoy your favorite sitcom, and then what do you think goes behind to make that? Now think of one person doing that by himself, creating the whole entire cast and everything himself, and pretending there's a wall of people there watching them.
Yeah,
I mean that's what it is. So everyone knows, but yeah, that's why it's a subcontractor for Google and Amazon. Like, oh, okay, that's great. You probably make some money. I'm like, it's okay, pay.
Yeah,
and then let's move on.
Yeah, like I get a 1099 from Amazon. That's
There
you
go.
Cool. You work for Amazon? I'm like, yeah, I mean, kind of. I do contract work for Amazon.
It's the contract work. Oh, great. So you're stuck by the rules. Well, you have no idea how much we're stuck by the rules.
Yeah, it's like you just stand in there. But yeah, well, cool, man. Well, I know it's been late, and I appreciate you sticking around and coming by, and I would absolutely will have to do this again by all means, and I hope that you had fun. I hope that we got to learn more about J0hn Bane. You got to experience...
I don't know if they did or not. I mean, I'm a run-on sentence kind of guy, so I might have just screwed up any type of hopes of like appealing to anyone here.
I think they'll lie to us anyway. They'll be like, "Oh, it's great."
Yeah, it's like, it's nice. It's glad that you're here.
It's the best thing ever.
I was paying attention the whole time. No.
It's Ashley said she had fun. It was a wonderful conversation, and she doesn't lie.
Well, one thing I'll leave with, make sure you check out the second channel of Flitz. If anyone in the chat wants to, but so you can see what the hell I was trying to describe. Maybe give me better words for it.
Yes. By the way, where are your links? Do you have links? You want to post your links in the chat for these people that don't know? But I feel like they should and probably do. But
I'm so used to my screen actually being on stream that I was trying to move it to the other side of my. So I wouldn't show it on my desktop. Hold on, let me bring it up. There it is. This is the new one. If I guess, do you want me to give you link spam? I'm
yes,
that's usually kind of rude.
No, that's why you're here. I'm here promoting you.
Oh, okay. There you go. Like that's the new channel. That's the new one there. That's actually the things we were talking about.
Okay. So everyone go subscribe to that one. And if you're not
And
subscribed
then
to your
it just
regular
started
channel,
up this week. It just started up this week, and then my usual channel is standard issue, youtube.com/J0hn Bane, which is with a 0. And it's going to play a really loud video at the beginning. Hold on.
and what about your have you started an OnlyFans account yet?
I whispered that to you. That's
Oh,
the only thing it's like you can see that one. You want to see some real builderizations? Check it out. I'm also on Instagram for like, just J0hn Bane is the way to find me. J0hn Bane, all one word. You type that in with something else like Twitter, Instagram, something. It's typically me. No, there's no one else with that full, J0hn Bane. That's how you find it.
And do you so you do Twitter, Instagram? You've got the YouTubes. Do you do anything else? Do you do TikTok? I was talking to J0hn the other day. J0hn's getting into the TikTok. Have you gotten into the TikTok yet?
Did they unban it yet?
I don't know.
It's been banned.
Did they actually ban it?
Yeah, in the U.S., yeah.
Oh, wow.
They supposedly did. You got to use the VPN to get to it, and it's you get into trouble if you use it, I think. As far as I'm aware. I don't know.
Wow.
The closest thing maybe is SoundCloud, but I don't really promote that.
Is that music that you like, your old music stuff? Do you have?
Yeah, let me see.
I mean,
there's like little clips. It's weird stuff though. I'm not really promoting that. That's kind of like if you find it, there's a little bit of juiciness for you.
I say if you want to share it, then by all means share it.
Do I have a little bit of me live mix down here? Can you hear that?
I cannot hear that.
Okay, good. Well, here I'll give you this if you wanna check out how I sound singing, for something else. I'll send it to you on Discord.
Okay.
If you choose.
Raven wants to know if you're playing Warframe. Did you ever get into Warframe?
No. Not my thing so much. I see why people jam it out, but it's not my thing.
It's a fun time. It's.
I can see. I'm waiting for Ashes of Creation. I backed it up heavily. I'm getting my own statue in the game. That's how much I backed it up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's amazing what they're doing, and they are moving forward with it. And so I don't want to be diverted by any other MMO type things until that comes out. And I give it I'm official content creator for them, and I believe in that product. So nice. I'm waiting for that, and that should be Alpha 1 is coming out anytime now.
And you made me think of another question that's moderately not personal, but I don't want it to be insulting. When you were playing Metal, did you have long hair?
I had long hair actually up in most of my life at one point, and then it started to go, and I was like, I'm not going to be one of those dudes that are trying to hold on to it. It's like, just screw it, get it out of the way now, so you get used to it, man.
Right.
And that's what I went. But I had long hair most of my life, man. Anywhere between like right above my shoulder, around mid neck area, all the way down the middle of my back.
So everybody go look for those pictures. Everybody scour the internet. Are they available? Are we going to find them? Are we going to deep dive and find pictures of you?
Like there's one point where I was like wearing fishnet armings with like leather pants and a whole bunch of whole 9 yards, man. Like I didn't give a damn. I rocked where the hell I wanted to, because that's how you do it. You don't go out there like, oh, I think I kind of look stupid. Then you can look stupid. Yeah. I just wear where the hell I want. So if you find it, good luck and hope you enjoy it. I'm not ashamed of it. That's one thing. You did it. We were younger then. We've learned different things. But yeah, rock it out, man.
I didn't learn. That's why I still wear bright burnt orange polyester 70s disco.
So
clothes.
Do you like it?
Yeah, that's my.
And what does it matter what people think? Rock that crap. If they got a problem with it, that means you're doing a good job. They're hating on you because they didn't think of it first.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say if I had a career choice that if I had musical talent, I would be best suited to be a lead singer. That would be my role. I would dress because I dress that way anyway. Like that would be my perfect job. That clip I sent
you there, that's me on guitar and singing completely. So I don't know if you want to listen to it sometime, but that's me. That's actually me singing and playing guitar with a drummer and a bassist.
I'm going to check it out, and I won't post it all over the internet.
You can play it right there if you want to. I don't really care. It's kind of weird though right now to do it on an interview, but I don't really care.
I don't think it's weird. Hold on. How do I get out of the screen? Discord is so weird. See, like it makes the screen smaller, and let's see.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful, don't want to show all the pertinent information. Those nudes you sent were pretty hot.
Oh yeah, that's true. People don't need to know about any of that. You've popped the stream out to another window. I know. That's what.
I think you can click on the different channels on the left. Yeah, you should be able to go all the way to the left.
This link will take you to a dangerous place.
You should be able to just press play right in the chat right there. It should be play right there in the message. There's like a little arrow. Does it work?
Got it. Can you hear it? Maybe
No.
you can.
Oh god, now I'm gonna be embarrassed because I can't hear it too.
Can you guys hear this? I think we can hear this, right?
That's a softer song, but then it gets heavier.
Wait, this is just audio, right?
What?
Is there a video to this, or is this is just audio, right?
It's an audio clip, yeah.
Okay. This is beautiful. That's a major change, man. You go from the metal growl into the harmonic melody.
Yeah, it's a bit of work. That was part of the project Sparrow was working with. We did a couple of live things here and there for testing. That's one of them.
I'm tapping my
I wrote
foot.
all that.
And
none of it's in 4/4. It's false 4/4. There's little tags here and there that change it up.
it's very meaty. I like that it's very. I don't know how to explain that. Like it's very thick, punchy, meaty music.
Yeah, that's what it was for. That's where the Mastodon influence comes in. It's kind of growly, punchy things. That one was probably closer to more of a technical side on the performance side of it. There are other songs that are more guttural feeling too that did. So yeah, that was me. That was the last musical project I worked on. And that I also did recording here in my house in my basement area. I had a studio thing set up I was fully invested in. And one day the drummer acted like a complete jerk, and my bass player when I quit, I was like, "Oh, you guys get all your shit. Get the fuck out of here." Excuse me. I said it. I was done. I'm like, I'm gonna go do YouTube. Good luck.
Right.
And the rest is history. I was like, we worked this hard. It sounds this good, and now you want to act like this? Get out of here. I'm done. I'm tired of it. There's other things that have built up to that, but that was the final straw for me. So.
Yeah. Do you ever think you're going to go back to music, or you think that's kind of a...
That business is... I don't have any... I've passed me by to a degree because even bands like Mastodon are usually on tour for 300 days out of the week. 300 days out of the year. 300 days out of the year. Somewhere around there between 250 and 300 days out of the year. To make it financially viable to support a means where it's worth the investment of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so you're going across the world playing them, which would be great, but you don't really see, which you wouldn't think, oh, you get to travel the world. Yeah, while you sit in a bus where people drive you around, you're not allowed to go anywhere because you're famous, and then you have to perform the same songs every night 300 days out of the year. So
yeah.
Anyway, no, I don't think I would. I do go back every now and again to write little things here and there. That SoundCloud, I don't know if that's the right one. That's my live band stuff. I have a separate SoundCloud for like YouTube type stuff. It has more ethereal things in it, some grindy stuff in there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually all live from Sparrow that was left. So
was that at a live gig?
That was a live tester we did.
Oh, okay.
And this one here is the other one. It has Archer Conan on it and stuff. With some Sparrow posts in there too. But I'll give you the link to that. That's actually the full SoundCloud that I let people find out about. But I shared you some that I don't want me to share to people.
Oh, okay.
So you got some extra happiness there.
Gotcha.
And that one there is the one that has a little bit of mixture of stuff. There's some kind of songs on there about the Archer Conan, uncensored versions up there, and a bunch of other things. So
cool. Well, I'm gonna keep it to myself and enjoy it.
Yo, no share. He's not sharing.
Well, awesome, man. It's been a blast getting to hang out and getting to know you, and now we're best friends again, and life is good.
Oh, we were before?
I mean, well, I pretended that we were. we've
Okay, that's fine. I was verifying.
I mean,
know.
we've
I didn't know. I
slept.
was making sure.
I feel like you stayed with Slipgator, right? Like when you went, did you stay at his house?
Yeah.
So like we've probably slept in the same bed in the guest room upstairs.
Well, he said that he burned the sheets the last time you were there.
He got rid of the bed.
V said no, just get rid of the mattresses too.
Yeah, they're known to recycle couches, and you know he gets a new couch every day and gets rid the beds, and they burned every. Yeah, as soon as I left, they're like, let's just. So
the white linen closet was nice though.
Yeah. That's why I was like, no, I mean we basically slept in the same bed, so we might as well just be. Next time it's going to be bunk beds.
I don't fit in I don't even fit in a full size bed, honestly. And queens hurt to sleep in because I sleep at an angle. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not even kidding. It sucks being tall. Everything's made, especially when you get into Asian built vehicles and house type things. You don't fit in anything, man. It sucks.
I think, and you said you're like what 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3", 6'3". Honestly, 6'3 3/4, but I don't care. Yeah. I'm tall enough where I could say the smaller part, and I'm fine.
I think
6'3", you know.
Because I think the biggest person that I've ever met, I met Tyler Mane, that played. He was Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. He was also Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie. But he's 6'8", and even that, like, that's ridiculous. Because I mean, it's like that's easily a foot taller than me. You know that like, and the girl I was dating at the time is all of 5'2", so she's like up to his belly. You know, it's insane that you're just like, I can't believe people can be this big. That's.
I don't know. It's because like I'm not the tallest dude out there, but I don't really. It doesn't find people too much. It doesn't bother me. Like I don't. It's like the barbecue issue, man. We'll finish with this. With this. It's like barbecue. You know how people in Memphis say that their barbecue is the best, everything else sucks. Then Texas, our barbecue is the best, it sucks. Screw that. They all taste freaking delicious. You might prefer that, but I'll be damned if you're gonna put some barbecue for me. I ain't gonna eat that crap.
That's
all right,
true.
It's fine. You can be 6'3", 5'8", whatever. Rock it out. It tastes great. There we go.
It's all bodies. It's all bodies.
What are you doing? Okay. Yeah. I had a good time.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad that you had fun. I'm glad, and thank you again for coming on. I know it was we kind of hobbled it together a little bit. It was kind of a short notice because
I wasn't sure what type of questions you were going to have lined up, if you did any full research or not. Which now I've given you more information. Next time you better do some damn research.
Now that, like I said, this is like the warm up. Now that I got you comfortable, now it's going to be like, tell me about 6th grade and that guy Biff that stole your lunchbox. And you're gonna be
there was Rico, and then I ended up putting him in a headlock and spun him around the classroom, knocking over the desks. I was 5'11" in 6th grade.
Oh God!
I'm not kidding.
So
it made me, and I was chill, but I learned how to fight because everybody used me to prove themselves, and a lot of them lost.
Yeah.
So that was not fun.
Did you get that a lot? And so you keep making me think of things. Did you get that a lot? Like being because I've always been scrawny as fuck. So.
Well, after a while, I whipped enough people's asses where they didn't mess with me anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Like by the time I was in half of 7th grade, I was 6'2".
Yeah,
I had growth spurt and I was not skinny. And there was another big dude that used to walk with me home. I didn't live in the best part of town at all. We didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And I didn't live in the best part, and I used to walk home, and both of us would be the targets. And so, and I'm not gonna whatever. I'm just saying this is really what it was.
Right.
And after a while, they built respect because you could whip everybody.
Right.
And they stopped testing you anymore. They went to somebody else to use for testing.
Yeah. So. No, because I mean I hear that like I said I have a buddy named Hannibal, and he was like a power lifter. Like he was huge. And the funniest story, and maybe you can relate to this too. Like I lived in an apartment, and it was a sliding glass door that only opened to like 30 inches. And he walked up to it and he was like, really?
I can't. Yeah.
He had to like turn sideways to walk to the door.
Yeah.
And but he's said that to me before, because like people, if you're a big dude, and you have to be really careful, because if you get in a fight with somebody that's way too small, then they can find other ways to retaliate. He's like, you have to be really careful being a big dude, because people, like you said, they want to use you as a learning experience. Like they think they can kick your ass, and then if you hurt them, then like they could go get a gun or something. It's like you just have to be really mindful of those things.
Well, I wasn't afraid to grab my environment when it grew to more than one person.
Yeah.
Honestly, when it grew more than one person, then you start using your environment, and there's no need to get descriptive with it. But then when you got two big dudes that were used to getting it, and then after a while, and then you started getting other people that respected you, and then when someone's trying to start something, they'd say, "You don't want that," and it started to feel kind of good, but it never got me in my ego. I was just like, "I'm glad they're leaving me alone."
Right.
I'm trying to go to school and go home. I was homeschooled up until 6th grade, and that's when 6th grade, right when I went in, that was the way I was welcomed.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, there you go. Happy fun times.
Yeah. People are jerks. Kids are assholes. That's really what it was. Kids are.
Well, I learned really quickly that the phrase "do unto others, you have them do unto you" is not necessarily the best way to go about in life. It's a good thing to have in the background and keep thinking, but you have to have a couple steps before you do that. I learned that really quick. And I found out how mean people were very quickly, which I feel lucky about it because I had to deal with it right from the get-go in 6th grade, and not knowing, like, you're used to being around your mommy and your brother for your school, then all of a sudden you get dropped in the middle of public school in 6th grade. That's some brutal, and you're a big dude. It's some brutal crap. So you'll learn quickly.
We've learned, speaking of learning, we've learned so much about you, J0hn Bane. We know you.
Yeah.
We know you better.
I tried to mix it up with my gobbledygook talk, so we couldn't really understand what the hell I was saying. So
we've interpreted all of it. We're gonna write a book. I'm writing a biography. The ins and outs of J0hn Bane. We're gonna make $1 million.
If you really want all that, man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
We're gonna make.
I'm not trying to make you commit suicide. No.
We're gonna make all the money. Because people love books more than anything nowadays. They have attention spans. They want to read books that are long. They don't want 15-second videos. They don't want any of that.
Hopefully they want 10 to 15-minute videos.
They want 17-hour book reading sessions. That's what the kids want these days. But anyway, well, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. It's super awesome of you to take your time to come hang out. And but yeah, absolutely, we should do this again sometime. When we find some more, we have some more games and stuff to talk about, and I start researching more and more and learning about your deep, dark history, and start asking hard-hitting questions.
There's actually not a lot of it available. I've been really careful. But yeah, man, thank you, and thank you, chat, and thank you anybody who came from the stream that come hang out and be here, and I'm glad you doing something like this. I actually had someone, Mason here, suggested that I do a podcast in the mornings where I interview ex-members or members of the Pooping Evolved. Last week he suggested that, and then you messaged me. It was before you messaged me, and it blew my mind. Like 2 people like doing it, and you're doing a great job. So
that's interesting.
Keep it up. And
I mean, I feel like I've been hitting that, because I have to kind of start with working with a little bit of like what I know.
Yeah, you need to. I mean, it makes total sense. It doesn't devalue it at all.
And yeah, so it seems like because I've kind of hit a lot of people that are in the like I said, the Venn diagram. You're within the concentric circles here, and it seems. I mean, the response, breaking fourth wall. It seems the response has been pretty good. That I think people like to see a different side of because they get to watch you guys be on game all the time and be in doing your thing. But I think people do enjoy getting to see a different side of people. So, and plus you're a cat lover.
Yeah, I have 3.
And man, Raven is gifting 5 subs. Look at Raven go. Such generosity in this place. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it again. And all the best continued success to you and everything that you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing because you're winning. As
I guess I'm trying. I'm trying. But thanks, man. Yeah, I guess I'll see y'all later, and I'll let you finish out your stream. Y'all have a good one.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Take care of yourself.
Later. Bye. Watch this. Peace out.
Very cool. J0hn Bane, ladies and gentlemen. J0hn Bane. There we go. Raven. Also, Raven with the resub and the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much. You guys. Where's my other chat window here? My whole screen was taken up on the other side. I was kind of off. There we go. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. We have a Stream Raiders thing. We have a battle to do before we go. We're gonna do a battle, and then I'm probably gonna go watch TV. I know it's probably I know I started late We've had a bit of a short night, but we made up for it because we had a great interview. And also, everybody that came over with the raid, by the way, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for being here. I do sometimes play video games during the week, but Fridays, hopefully we can continue to consistently do this. I have been working to try to get guests to come on Fridays to have these little fireside chats with. So if you're interested in that, come by and check out Fridays. If you're enjoying these chats, so that's the thing. So all you guys that have followed, thank you guys so much. And also, I'm sorry for I've missed some of the chat. I know you guys probably said things. Hopefully, it wasn't too super important and I missed it. But yeah, we're gonna do no bad advice. Did you receive? Oh, you didn't get any bad advice, Miss Ashley. Let's do our battle. Also, Fridays, I also give out bad advice. So if you guys want to come by and ask for bad advice, I can give you bad advice on Fridays. That's the thing I do as well. What do we have going on here? We have 28 allies. Are we going to win? I'm still at 0 kills. Dako is at 21 kills. What the hell, Dako? You'd think my giant bow and arrow would do some more damage, but no. Well, I got a kill. I got 1 kill. We win! Oh my god. Oh my god. I got a thing there. Dako got some Centurion things. Well, well, well. How's my army? A Templar! I've unlocked a Templar. Look at me go. Fantastic. Super important. What's bad advice on what we should watch after the stream? You should watch ASMR chat. That's the bad advice I can give you on what you should watch after that. Beatles' Yellow Submarine is a timeless classic that everyone should watch tonight. I've never seen that. Is that something I should watch? I want to go watch Lovecraft Country. I didn't watch Lovecraft Country last week when it came out on Sunday, right? I think it came on Sunday. I didn't watch that yet. So I put that off. So I think that's going to be... It's on HBO. Cave's going to watch the strange pictures in his brain. Steps has 2 more days. Oh, 2 more days of work, I guess, right? Two more days, man. You can make it. 2 more days. It's a great movie. I liked Ringo in that movie Caveman. That was my favorite Beatles acting, was Ringo in Caveman. Because that was great. They smashed a bug on his face. Giant mosquito thing or whatever. But yeah, that's one of those I've missed. It's one of those I never got around to watching. I'll have to do that. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it. I'm gonna go. I have to go feed baby animals. I have to take care of cats, and then I have to watch TV, and I have to have a drink. Lovecraft Country tonight. I'm gonna watch Lovecraft Country tonight. I think the first episode. Yeah. I'm guessing it's like a weekly thing. I'm not really sure. I think it's gonna be a weekly thing. Fake Baileys indeed. Fake Baileys indeed. In that order. I try to take care of everything before I sit down. Like, I don't want to sit down and relax first. I want to go do everything I need to do and then sit down and be completely done with everything. Yeah, Lovecraft Country is on HBO. And I'm not a person that would pay for HBO. I get HBO because of my AT&T fiber internet. Since I have the 1 gigabit package, they give that to me for free. So but it's like the HBO Max or whatever. Like I don't have the channel. I can watch it on the internet because Roku and HBO have not worked out a deal to where there's a Roku app for HBO Max. So you have to watch it on a tablet or PC or cast it to your television or whatever because money, I guess. Also, yeah, it might be a vodka night, actually. It might be. I do have TV, but I just have regular TV. I don't, I have an antenna. I don't pay for, I pay for Hulu, and I pay for Netflix, and I pay for Amazon Prime, but I don't pay for, television service. I gave up the cable television stuff. Yeah, no Dish, no DirecTV. All the fun combos. Seps, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. As always, I hope you make it through your work week without incident. So, yeah, let's go find somebody to raid. And again, everybody with all the follows and all the stuff, and everybody that got gifted subs and Raven for gifting subs and all the resubs, all the things that all of you did. You're all amazing. Just being here is amazing. I really appreciate it. Everybody that came over, if you choose to follow, you choose to come back and hang out again, awesome. You're more than welcome. We'll be glad to have you. And let's see. Oh, actually, hold on. We need to do our normal. So we've got, if I can spell, there's that. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to join the Discord. If you want to follow on Twitter or Instagram, feel free to do that. If you want to, I haven't edited mine. Mine are full VODs. I've been moving my full VODs over to my YouTube channel. I will also, once I can pull it, I'll also cut out this interview segment. That will also be on the YouTube channel. You can also, on that YouTube channel, you can find my interview with Slipgator, J0hn, and with a friend of mine in the UK named John, that is not a gamer, but a vapor, and we talk about other random things. So those 3 interviews are up there, and soon the 4th one with J0hn Bane is going to be up there once I get that. So that will be on the YouTube channel as well. I think that's all the things. I think that's all the ones we got. So, yeah, the Dick Sword command. Yes, we got that one too. So let's go see who we can send everybody off to. How do I do this? Back to Twitch. Do you have anybody on?
People is asking you.
Actually, we can go watch a scary game. We're gonna go visit Cobra's again. Because it's Friday. It's Friday night. Nobody else is on. We're gonna go visit Cobra. They're playing, or one of them. I don't know if it's just one of. It's just one of them. It's the one Cobra playing Visage. Great game. We've talked about this recently. I was talking to Ashley about this game. Visage is a great game, and let's go raid. Let's go raid Cobra again. Cobras. We'll go do that. Yeah, double check on my list. That's what we're gonna do. There's the command. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I appreciate it. Everybody that hung out, thank you so much for everything. And just for being here. Just for being here and being amazing. You guys. I gotta take care of animals. So, no, you're the best. Thank you guys for everything. I'll see you guys very soon. I'll be back on Monday. And we'll play games. You're a guy. I am. Yes. Everybody have a great weekend, great night, great day, great all the things. Have one of something. Just have one. Also, where's my button?
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry. All right, let's go raid. Thank you guys for everything. Ready? Set.